Okie dokie. Why do I always intro? I always say the stupidest crap. Gosh dog it. Whenever I go to okie dokie, I always say something dumb. Anyway, welcome, hello, greetings, everybody. This is episode number 33. Trent y Trace for our Spanish-speaking friends, and my accent is very good. We're super stoked to be.
For sure.
Thanks, Nate. I knew you would understand.
Not your Puerto Rican wife.
No, not my Puerto Rican wife.
Puerto Rican wife.
Yeah, man, we are doing poorly so far
we should
on
start
this episode.
over.
Yeah. This is episode number 33, and we're really excited tonight for some guests, which we'll get to in a second. This is kind of a long time coming. Here we are.
Yeah. So just a reminder that our store is open at tackleandtacos.com. We have shirts and hat. Yeah. Well, a shirt,
a hat,
and stickers, sticker sheets.
Multiple stickers, though.
Multiple stickers.
Yeah. So go check it out and rep some merch.
Yeah, dude. So like, we're so new at all of this kind of. Every time we get the email that says you have an order, we're like, yoo-hoo!
We do a little happy dance.
Yeah, it's so dope. Like, it's still, and I hope that doesn't go away. You know what I mean? Like, I hope I am like Ike until I'm like 90, and every time something positive happens, I'm like, oh my gosh, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, that's
never give up.
Yeah, exactly. Never give up. I got an order. I can't believe I tricked some fool into buying a hat. I'm just playing.
Oh, that's too funny. But while you're out there ordering a hat, a shirt, or some stickers, be sure to check out our social. As always, Tackle and Tacos on Facebook and Instagram, and as well YouTube. Yep, Tackle and Tacos across the board. The YouTube, we've got a few videos out there. Some of our more recent podcasts are up. So be sure to check that out and like, subscribe, do all the cool stuff that
all the
do.
YouTube
we
stuff.
Appreciate it.
Our YouTube is kind of a mixed bag because it has like tournament videos, like tournament recap videos. It has some podcasts. It has like a video of like a tour through Nate's boat that we call One Boat, One Take, where it's just one single shot from bow to stern, walking through everything. So it's kind of a mixed bag.
I think we're still waiting on your boat, right?
Yeah, we need to do that. I mean, I guess we could do it in the garage now that it's 14. I could pull it out into the snow.
Pull it out in
driveway.
The snow,
But here's the ultra treks. Yeah, just shiver. Yeah.
So we just had Thanksgiving. How was your Thanksgiving, Nate?
Oh, it was great. It was really good. Spent lots of time with the family. Did Thanksgiving with my wife's family earlier in the day, and then with my family later in the day. So it was fun. It was really good. I smoked a turkey. And it was hands down the best smoked turkey I've ever had.
Yes.
Whoa. Okay. Did you brine it first?
I did not. No.
Oh, really?
No,
okay.
I didn't. Yeah. So in the past, I've done the brine. I've done the the bucket and let it soak for a day and all that stuff. But I didn't do that with this one.
I've heard that you don't have to, that it's okay and it's still super yummy.
Yeah.
Man, it was incredible. Yeah, it was incredible. So I had got a free turkey from work, and it was gigantic. Of course, so spatchcocking it's really the only way to go when you're making a giant bird like
takes
that.
Forever,
so,
if you don't.
Yeah, so exactly. So
anybody who doesn't know, spatchcocking is where you cut it down the middle, like from the backside, and kind of lay it out flat. So it looks kind of like how our bulldog lays when he lays on his stomach.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I spatchcocked it out and seasoned it up, and then I did the whole like butter between the skin and the meat kind of thing.
Okay.
And and then smoked it, and then after the first about hour and a half, I basted it with butter, and then injected it with seasoned butter also every 30 to 45
I'm getting
minutes.
Fatter just listening to you.
Oh, dude, it was incredible. Like I said,
that sounds dope.
Hands down the best turkey I've done, and it will become a tradition. I was kind of nervous with the whole like giant bird smoking. They say you want a 12 to 10 to 12 pound turkey to smoke. This one was like 22 pounds. So
my gosh.
This one took a little bit longer, but it ate really well. So
good. That's dope, dude. Yeah.
What did we do, honey?
Our Thanksgiving was super good. We have all of our kiddos. We've said this before. We have 6 kids between Lola and I. We're an awesome mixed family, and we love every minute of it.
Chaos
The
of
chaos,
it and
the insanity.
Heck yeah.
Big family vibes all the time.
Yeah, it's really fun. And it was during rifle season, and so we're trying to balance like going hunting with like coming inside to eat. And we went to her parents' house. Shout out to Craig and Jerry.
Shout out.
The shout out. They're just the coolest. Awesome stuffing, Thanksgiving, turkey, just the whole shebang. Pretty normal stuff. I'm thinking about this right now, Nate, because I have a sticker on our table. You're saying smoking. I work at Shields, if anybody hasn't heard me say that before, in the service department. And one of the things we do is like put together stuff. And last week I put together a grill called a Yoder smoker.
I had never heard of it.
I don't know if anybody's ever heard of those. They're from Yoder, I think Kansas or something. Dude, these things are tanks. This is most legit.
I legit saw an ad for that like yesterday.
It's incredible.
Like, yeah, they're wild.
Yeah, I don't know if we can just like say their name enough and they'll give us like a sponsorship and like maybe we could talk to the dudes we have coming on tonight about how to get sponsors.
Yeah, that's good.
And if we just say Yoder and Duke Cannon enough, maybe it'll just happen.
I think so.
But these things are bad to the bone. Like they are so smart and like all the steel on them, the gauge of steel that they use is super heavy duty. Like, yeah, so dope. Anyway, but our Thanksgiving was awesome. Yeah, it was super fun. Crazy family running around all over the place. We didn't do any like political talk, unfortunately. Nobody talked about abortion or racism.
That's really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I was hoping to get into all that stuff. We didn't.
With just my parents.
Yeah, with just her parents. Gun control. We didn't talk about that at all. But it was dope.
The same views as my parents, so it would have
yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. So it was a really good Thanksgiving. And then we had my dad and my stepmom came in town because we talked about this last week. We celebrated Dom's birthday, and then a humongous shout out to our oldest child overall and our oldest girl, Kennedy, who is turning 14
on Thursday.
On Thursday, the 30th, which is crazy to me. So we celebrated a party for one on one day and one on the other day. And so it was just a bunch of cool family hangout vibes. And then it snowed. And so the kids are playing outside. And
it's so funny because it was like the first night, it was like literally a dusting.
Yeah.
And they were like, let's go play in the snow. Yeah. And I was like, okay. And they were like playing this on game the ground that they like made up called volleyball tennis. Yeah. But they called it Venice or something. Anyway, Vinny came up with that, of course. And then the next day when there was more snow, they put on all their snow stuff. And I mean, by more snow, I mean, it was like maybe 2 inches.
Yeah, it was heavy duty.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good.
And then, okay, so this is, like our thing here on Tackling Tacos is positivity and upbeat and good things and whatever. And so I don't want to get super negative, but I do need to call out our friend Carlos, the owner of Guac and Roll, because on Sunday we wanted to go to Guac and Roll with our whole family.
Every day I want to go to Guac
she wants to go I do too, but whatever. But they're closed on Sundays. And so we went to a different spot, and I'm not going to like name the spot because I'm not going to do that, but it was not very good. It was okay.
Everyone still wanted tacos or
we still wanted that vibe. And so we found a place that had good reviews. I almost just said on Etsy. What is that website? What's that thing for like Yelp?
Yelp.
Not
some
Etsy.
Crafts and earrings.
Yeah. And so we went, and it was the weirdest thing ever. Like the menu on the wall didn't have prices, but homeboy was like, you can scan this QR code to see the prices of everything.
And so didn't.
Which is really weird, right? And then for our giant family, it ended up being, I'm not exaggerating, it was $112 for us to eat at this Mexican joint and just get like tacos and whatever. And like on a 1 to 10, it was a solid like,
I'd give it a 4.5.
Yeah, I'd give it a 5 maybe. And so like, I don't know. I don't know why I'm bringing that up right now. Just like I was so excited to try a new taco place, and then it ended up not being dope. So like,
Guac and Roll, we love you forever.
I just think you have to really, you have to like really like lean into the philosopher Left Eye from TLC. Like, don't go chasing waterfalls.
Don't do it.
Just stick to the the Taco Bells and the Guac and Rolls that you're used to, and then you'd be all right. Because like straight up Taco Bell would have been doper than this place and like a 1/9 of the price.
We have 4 bathrooms, so it would have been okay.
Yeah, no diss to that place, but I don't know. It was just a weird vibe. It was a weird atmosphere. The food was lukewarm. The ordering process was confusing, which to me is not the best way to do a restaurant. A confusing ordering process. I don't know, but anyway, let's get through it. Let's bring in these fellers. If you're watching this on YouTube, which we usually We'll put out we always put out our podcast on Apple, Spotify, all that stuff on Tuesdays, Taco Tuesdays, right away in the morning. And then the YouTube version we'll put out like a couple days later, Thursday, Friday, whatever, because we don't want to like rob Peter to pay Paul. Whatever. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to see like 5 screens going at once. And this is so rad. This is a conversation that we started a while back, which actually Lola was sort of like unknowingly like the genesis of this convo. Because if anybody remembers, at Halloween, Lola dressed up as a jackhammer chatterbait with like the silver blade and the black blue skirt, whatever. And Serious Angler, I don't know how they saw it, but they commented like, "Oh, this is awesome" or something. And then we were like, "Whoa, we love your guys' podcast." And then we just like started messaging back and forth.
Now
like,
we're best friends.
Yeah, now like we hang out all the time, and and so we just like go, "Yo, be on our podcast." And they're like, "Yeah, for sure." Like they weren't even like a little bit hesitant, and that's probably something they're going to end up regretting later. But we're pumped to have them on, and so yeah, we are really excited to bring in right now the one at a time the Serious Angler Network podcast fellers. Hey, welcome guys.
What's going on?
Hey. I like the one at a time thing. Kind of felt like the Brady Bunch screen, you know?
Yeah, I didn't know how to do it. I should have asked you guys for tips. You're better at like StreamYard than I am.
No, that's
good. Awesome.
Yeah, so we have with us Bailey, Andrew, Adam, and Andrew. People do call you Andy, yeah. Like on the podcast, I feel like they call you Andy all the time.
Andy, Andrew, Captain. It doesn't matter. You can call me whatever you want.
Yeah, so. And you're an actual captain, which is really dope. Like really, really cool.
Hey, sure. That's rad.
But welcome.
But yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
so I guess I just want to ask. It's kind of simple, but
let's
like,
just go. Let's just jump
how
in.
did it all get started? Who are you guys? I know that that's a couple different questions, but like,
yeah,
what are your specific roles in the podcast?
Yeah, who are you?
Who are you?
So,
oh man,
go ahead. Can I prelude this? Can I prelude it? So it started with a dream. A crappy laptop and Zoom. All right.
Okay. And Zoom, is that you said?
Dream. Yes.
Yeah.
All Bailey's dream. And then somewhere along like 100 episodes in, he brought me along, and then we brought Deacon in, and now we have the network. And Bailey is like the dream child of it all. So he can run from it here.
Okay.
Right.
He's the Magic Johnson. He's the facilitator.
Yes. He's a facilitator. Yeah, that was good. That was good name.
Just feeding the rock.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that, but we'll call it a team effort for sure, because it really stemmed from, we were talking about a little bit offline, but like 2 podcasts, obviously, and then friends with Deacon, and we just came to the conclusion one of the days that we should, kind of morph this thing into one here. Yeah. And it's been a wild ride because we've changed stuff up a lot, and we're learning as we go here. We're not quite set up professionally like you guys are. Like I'm impressed.
Honestly, we were messaging each other just to let you guys know. Like we're like, wow, 33 episodes in. Like I don't even want to go back and look at the production. I mean, just you guys have it down. So
wow. Thank you.
Well, heck yeah, that's awesome, man. We appreciate it.
33 episodes in, I was in an apartment in Indiana with a keyboard, a laptop that had missing half a keyboard, and using Zoom to try to record.
Yeah, that's dedication.
Yeah, but you were doing
it.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Sure.
So wait,
I think my guests hated me though. They hated me because my Zoom would crash and I had to restart it 4 different times and add them back in.
Perfect.
Commitment.
So like, you guys are way ahead of the game.
Yeah, they had to really want to be on your show.
They just felt really bad for me. I think that's what it was.
They're like, just stay on. This poor kid.
Everything like Serious Angler, I started 4 years ago. I wasn't able to fish doing an internship at Notre Dame and had no time, and started up because I've ate up with fishing like we all are, and I was just ate up with the aspect of learning about it, and so that's why I would just force people against their will to come on, talk fishing, and give up their secrets, and call it a podcast.
Call it a podcast.
Dope. Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't know that. That's really neat. Absolutely. So what is each one of y'all's roles, like the 3 of you guys, as far as within the network, or however you'd label that?
Deacon, you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. So a little bit more background too on Serious Angler. So Bailey, at this time, Bailey probably started a year before I had started Business from the Bass Boat, and I watched Bailey stuff, and then he invited me on the show, and then I invited him on my show, and then Andy was on at that point, and basically, if I remember right, you guys were like, dude, you're not on YouTube. Like, what are you like? This is where we get into roles and where Bailey and Andrew have, done a fantastic job around stuff that I just don't know about. And basically, they were like, hey, what about if you put your show on YouTube with us? And I was like, hold up. I like what these guys are doing. I get like, I think as you get older in life, you kind of, I'm not saying I'm super old or wise or anything, but like you start to just you just start to do things because like I don't want to say like the vibe feels right, but you're like, man, like these are I like this feeling that I'm getting.
Yeah.
Hanging out with these guys, talking to these guys, like let's do this more. Like why instead of just this, like, hey, let's have Business from the Bass Boat on the Serious Angler YouTube channel, like let's merge, like let's do this whole thing all in Serious Angler. Let's go with it. And so that's kind of how that relationship ended. And I started Business from the Bass Boat during COVID. Like that was my catalyst. It was like at home, working from home, had the opportunity and the time. And so that's where that all kind of rolled in. And so, yeah, I mean, I guess as far as roles go, what I do with the Serious Angler Network, I mean, I think we do some covering of everyone's tasks, but I have the Business from the Bass Boat show, which is more industry related on the fishing industry.
It's really good.
All kinds of tangents and holes. Well, I appreciate that, but basically it's not just the fishing industry, but it's learning sponsorship and seeing how anglers afford to go fish the Bassmaster Opens or whatever it may be. It's kind of the number side, I guess, would be the best way.
I like that.
Yeah, it's really good.
So
in today's world, there's a lot of that going around. So it's a good time to be in that business for sure. So
right. There's especially in today's world right now. So that's been kind of my main role as Business from the Bass Boat, and then just we all work very well together on working through our sponsorship deals. I manage the majority of our finances around that kind of stuff and more of the business side of things, I guess I would say. I don't know. Andy, Bailey, what do you guys think? Is that kind of
spot on? The finances for sure, because if it was me, we'd probably all be in jail right now.
If it was me, it would get lost because I'm too busy doing 95 different things.
So his podcast is called Business. It'd be funny if he didn't run the business.
This is very.
I mean, dude, Deacon was a blessing for us in many ways. One, we had a different aspect of reaching a different niche, and we might have had some media savviness on our side, but Deacon brought it on. He's like, hey, one, your audio sucks. Fix that. Two, here's how you manage all of your finances. Here you go. He came in with a lot of like long-term thinking, really good business plans. Obviously, with the show, it speaks for itself, but we have a really good mesh in how we all kind of participate in the group here. But didn't want that to go unnoticed here. Deacon's a big part of the reason our quality is what it is.
That's dope.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. So
he helped elevate us.
Yeah.
And it was a great addition to bring him in to the fold of Bailey and I, and like we're ever thankful for having him a part of our team. So
that's so sweet. I love that.
Whatever they're saying nice about me, it's like quadrupled on the value that they have brought.
Oh, come on.
You guys, this is so sweet.
Yeah, this is dope.
I love this.
Yeah, I like it.
No, it's funny you say that. No, I feel the same way about those two guys over there, Lola and Jordan. So I definitely know what you're talking about, the value that other people on the podcast bring, and they do an awesome job. So I appreciate them.
Well, and I love and appreciate you. So
I think that one thing that goes unnoticed too, and this is just talking podcasts and things that you're passionate about in general, but like a big part of the team atmosphere for me, and this is just a weakness that I feel like I had running a solo show, and is like that accountability and being consistent, right? Like we all know it gets brutal when scheduling shows and just doing all this kinds of stuff, and then the social media side and everything else goes along with it, and creating a website and all that stuff. And so it was like having a team and bouncing ideas off of each other. And then again, like Bailey said, looking at the big picture of where we want to go with things. Like, I think that's what I really, really enjoy about what we have, is like that ability to work together for a common goal, going much further than we ever could each alone, you know?
Yeah. That makes there's a book called Raving Fans by Ken Blanchard. I don't know if y'all are readers. I like reading.
Yeah.
And in that book, he said this one line that everybody references, and it's such a good one, is none of us is as smart as all of us. You know, it's like this sort of idea that when we come together, that's where like the good stuff happens. So what, y'all have 4 podcasts, right, within like the network. Give us like a brief elevator pitch on each one. Why these 4 and not 3? Will you add more in the future? What's that all look like?
Go ahead.
I would say, starting just chronologically, Serious Angler is just dedicated to every aspect of just learning more about getting better at catching bass. We just love bass behavior, things like that, learning about anglers that have a lot to teach. Based from the bass boat, like Deacon was mentioning, it's very industry heavy, and learning the nitty gritties of, the people that are big honchos in the space that, created the world we live in, and great information there, especially people that want to be in the industry. The Lure Lab is one that Andy is captaining, pun intended, where it's 15, 20 minutes a week. It's about a new bait.
We try to be 15 to 20.
I was gonna say it started at 15 and we slowly rolled into 35 pretty quick.
Yeah.
A couple of an hour.
Depending on the topic.
It's really good though. Like, it's a really good podcast. I really like it. I think one of the first ones you did was on a couple, I can't remember what they were, but they were on crankbaits that I had never thrown or wasn't really like interested in throwing. And then I bought a few based on Lure Lab. So hopefully those weren't like sponsor plugs, or I'm gonna feel like a real sucker. But it was dope.
It's a mix of both. I mean, they are sponsor plugs, but with like legit information.
But like,
it's real stuff.
For
sure.
I think Bailey can at least attest this. Like, I won't talk about a bait that I don't have confidence in, or that I don't like. And if I don't have confidence in it, I'll straight up be like, yeah, I know how to fish it, but I don't like it. So like,
I appreciate that.
I try to shoot straight from the hip.
Yeah, it feels like it too.
Yeah, and he does a really good job at bringing on people that are proficient in such bait or technique for that week. It's hard hitting, quick, get you all the information. We post those on Saturday morning specifically, like for guys going to the ramp that day. Anglers are in the truck and like, oh damn, I didn't think about throwing that today. And that's kind of the mission statement, anyways, that we had beyond starting that. And then the new one that started.
Plans up.
Yeah. Either make them better or make them worse. We started the beginning of November this month, was Kayak Fishing Weekly, and that is with our new member of the team, Justin Largin. He's been pretty busy and getting that show off the ground, and him and I have been tackling that. And that's lives heavily just in the kayak fishing space. That we had a bunch of people come to us, at the network that are like, guys, we love your show. We wished you talked more about kayak fishing. We definitely get people on from the kayak fishing space, but we just we go all over the place when it comes to bass fishing. And so this one is 100%, angler wise.
It started.
He froze. Well, he's talking kayaks. Are all you guys, are you all into kayaks, or because I know I've seen,
Bailey.
Just Bailey is our kayak.
We talked about jumping in them, but Andy and I haven't been in one. Andy, have you tried?
No, I haven't been in a kayak fishing since I was about 14, but it's funny. Bailey this past spring was like, you got to fish this kayak tournament shortly after my second daughter was born. And boy, am I glad I didn't fish that one, because it was a madness. And I think Bailey can explain more of what happened at Derby, but I think I would have been scarred for life.
Oh my God.
What the heck? Okay, so give us some info there.
Yeah.
Am I back here?
Yeah,
welcome back, by the way.
So I've been having technical issues, but I don't think it was actually that this time, because my entire lights in my house went off and turned back on within a second. So I think it's some storm we got going on here.
There's 45 to 50 mile an hour winds coming off the lake.
Okay.
So
so if I drop out of here, it was nice talking to you guys. But
we'll pray for you.
Yeah, if you just get sucked up out of the frame real fast.
There's no place like home, Bailey.
Yeah, right. Well, that was Bailey. Hopefully he's okay.
I heard.
Oh, there he goes again.
Is he gone?
This is crazy.
If you ever want to talk weather, just call Andy, and you'll get about a 30-minute explanation. Before we got on the podcast, in full transparency, we were having a meeting, and we ended with, I learned about thunder during snowstorms. That happens. Yeah, like that. We don't get that out west. I've never been in a snowstorm and there's freaking thunder happening. Like, but there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So to put it in perspective, though, I've never heard thunder snow during the day until the wife and I decided to move our 2 children into like the heart of the snow belt. So if you paid attention to weather at all last year, Buffalo got like 2 catastrophic blizzards, right? One in middle of November, then the Christmas storm. Well, we so happened to move right into the town that got like blasted by both of those storms. So I'm like, why would we ever do this? But it was more of a strategic standpoint. 1, taxes are cheaper here, and 2, I'm much closer to the boat ramp. So,
see, 2 very important things.
Yes,
smart.
And Lake Erie is literally like I can stand on my roof and I can see Lake Erie. It's an 1/8 of a mile down the road. Yeah,
that's so sick, dude. Yeah, that's really dope.
I think Bailey's back. I want to hear this kayak.
Yeah, I want to hear this weird kayak story that made Andy sick or whatever.
Oh, it made me sick.
It'd make him scared or scarred for life.
Or scarred is what it was. Yeah, not sick.
Yeah, here's to hoping my Wi-Fi.
You got it, Wi-Fi.
Listen, I apologize.
You're clear now.
This is like the Zoom call all over again.
Yeah. Are you still using that same laptop?
Like we said, guys, I mean, it's still going to today.
Yeah. You can't see if that laptop only has
never would have happened. Exactly. Never would have happened if you had the whole keyboard.
Right.
That's right.
2 keys.
Dang keyboard.
But yeah, I tried to get Andy to fish a kayak tournament or 2 this past year, and I was like, dude, just at least come out for the charity tournament, first one of the year. Like, it's no big deal. Get a lot of people out, and like, it's cool. People come up to the events and they say hi to you. They watch the show, whatever. And it's a cool event in general for a good cause. And turned out that day it was supposed to be relatively windy, but like not bad. Like, it's manageable and just fine in a kayak. In the spring, for whatever reason, we get these pop-up storms, kind of like in the fall. They come out of nowhere. They're not on radar. You can't see them coming. And we get a storm to come roll through.
And here he goes again. So man, that the weather here, to his defense, is relatively horrible right now. But I think I can tap.
Look at the frustration on his face.
Yeah, poor guy.
You're back, buddy. You're back.
I apologize.
No, it's not your fault.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll slam it in here really quick.
Yeah, right.
It went from 10 miles an hour to 40 plus sustained, and 9 anglers put their kayaks and had to be saved, and it was pretty.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
No, thank you.
That does not
40
sound
degree
fun.
water. Like, you have to asterisk.
It was
40 to 45 degree water.
Oh my god!
It was in April. The water temperature was 46 degrees, I think, that day, around there.
Yikes!
Straight up dangerous.
So that's the reason. That's the reason I don't kayak fish as it is, because I'll flip it with no wind.
Right? Seriously, dude.
At 40-mile-an-hour sustained, I don't have a chance.
He's just under.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so really
I might
fast
as well
story.
start under the water. Yeah.
Right.
The first time I ever tried to like bass fish from a kayak, I went with my homie Adrian. You know Adrian, Nate, and he had a couple kayaks, and we went to this place. This is a terrible name. I don't even know if I should. Anyway, we used to call it Turd Lake because it was like a water refinement place. Like, what a horribly immature name. Yeah, everybody called it that, whatever. And so we're at this lake, and like, I'm not amazing at it, but I've always been pretty okay, like skipping jigs. And like within 5 seconds, I realized that I can't skip a jig from a kayak. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I just couldn't, I couldn't fish the way I fish because I'm so close to the water, and I can't stand up to like see, like, your perspective is totally different. And
not comfy
so like I totally dig kayak fishing in terms of like getting into stuff that you couldn't get into like in a bass boat. But like, dude, I couldn't do it, man. I could not.
Would you be willing to give it another try?
No.
Okay.
No. Because now I'm scared.
Wow.
Now I'm scared of like flipping over and getting hypothermia or something.
We scared 2 people on this.
Yeah, seriously. That does sound actually scary though. Jeez Louise.
Sure. But like, Bailey is like, he's crazy. He's a bad man. He'd be out on Erie right now if it was like 1 foot or less and like 30-degree water. Air temps. Like, he's absolutely, he loves it, and I applaud him for it, because I could not be in a Tupperware boat. I love my bass boat too much.
Right. Bailey, do you like kayak better than like a bass boat, the traditional fishing for bass?
I don't care what I'm doing. As long as I'm fishing, I'm good. I mean,
okay, man.
The more the longer I'm in a kayak, it's definitely nice to go hop on Andy's boat. Sure. Because I don't have to exert physical to be active or anything like that. But I mean, they all have their place in my heart for me, from whether it's the bank, the boat, or the kayak.
Yeah. And they get decked out now too, man. Like with the mini power poles and like live scope and like the Mirage or whatever, like the pedal system, depending on the brand. And like that was the other thing when I was fishing with my buddy out of his kayak, is I didn't realize, I don't know, maybe I'm just not that bright, but like you move with like your paddle, right? Obviously that I did realize, but then you put the paddle down to try and fish, and then you start to float away. So you have to like reel in real fast and grab the paddle and try and get back in your spot, and then grab your rod and then you float away. And I'm like, this is so exhausting. I can't stay on my spot. I can't skip a jig. Hurt. Yeah. Like what is going on here?
There's definitely a sport aspect to kayak fishing from a physical fitness standpoint.
Totally.
Yeah. If you're pedaling or you got the arm strength, whatever it is, like if you got the legs for it. My buddy Alex Rudd teases me every tournament we fish together because I have tree trunks for legs. Yeah. He's like, well, he's going to beat him to any spot. He's putting that kayak on plane.
Yeah, he gets up on pad and just goes. He's got to watch for no wake stuff in his kayak. Yeah, just flying. That's dope, dude.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. He's got a pretty big YouTube channel too, right? Alex Rudd. He does a lot of kayak fishing and stuff. Yeah, I thought so.
Okay, that's cool.
Definitely recommend.
Right on.
Good dude for sure.
I was just gonna ask you guys, like, how did each of you like start fishing and get into it? And like, were you little? Who got you into it? I don't know. Take us way back.
Oh, so I guess I'll start here. My story is kind of wild. Nobody in my family ever fished.
Whoa. Yeah, that is unique. Yeah.
It was it second or third grade? Like my elementary school best friend at the time lived around the street from me. It was like, yeah, come fishing. It's my birthday. You can go with me and my dad. And the first fish I ever caught was a perch, like a yellow perch. And
awesome.
I remember it to this day, and we still talk about it every once in a while, me and Matt. And
that's cool.
Ever since then, like I got like heavy into it, and then right around the end of graduating high school is when I dove into bass fishing really heavily. And then I do a lot of bass and steelhead fishing. But I used to like get grounded, pulled across the yard by my mom, who is now deceased. But she'd grab me by my ear because I would sneak out. The Erie Canal was like a 5-minute bike ride, and I would.
That's awesome.
Fishing, but I would just hop on the bike and go after school, forego all my homework, and just fish, and then get grounded for weeks.
Yeah, that's awesome. Totally worth it.
Yeah, 100%. Not the pain and agony I went through for it, but it was awesome.
Right.
Worth
it. That's cool.
Yeah.
That is a unique story, though. Yeah, because almost everybody says something about
their
a relative
or
whatever.
Uncle.
Yeah, like what was Pollinix? His mom's
someone's
friend or just came over and like took him fishing, and then he'd go to tournaments, and Brandon would just sit on the dock like while they fished the whole tournament and fish from shore. And so your story is definitely unique, Andy. That's really rad. What about you, Deacon or Bailey? How did you guys get bit for the first time?
Go ahead,
Bailey.
Nope. Oh, you're so polite.
You're it.
I'll go quick because mine's pretty cliche. I caught my first bass that I don't even remember catching it because I was like maybe 3 years old. I don't even have memory of it. My dad was just telling me about it. He took me to the pond by my grandparents' house, and all he would tell people about it till this day is, I just started crying like a little kid. I wouldn't want to touch it. That's all he would tell me about the story.
That's awesome.
Stuck for life.
Oh. I like the cliche though too, because it's still like
story,
a sweet. It's still sweet,
and it's super relatable. Not the crying part. I don't know if I've ever cried from a bass.
I cry every
time. I did cry when I got bit by a pike when I was like 7 or something.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah,
my dad doesn't let it go. Even to this day, we still talk a bunch of crap to each other while we fish.
Thanks, Dad.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was fairly cliche. I mean, my grandpa in Pennsylvania, we were visiting my dad's family in Pennsylvania, and just a pond with bluegills and panfish and that kind of a thing. And so that was kind of where I got bit with the bug, I guess. The funniest part of that story was my brother, still to this day. Like, I mean, he's gotten a lot better around fishing, and he goes with me whenever he's visiting or anything like that. But like, he was always so afraid of touching the fish.
Bad wrestler is afraid of touching.
Yeah, exactly. Like the manliest dude out there. But like literally, he the first fish I remember he hooked because instead of reeling the fish in, he didn't know what to do. He had a fish on. And he just took off running up the hill. He just ran as fast as he could with the rod, and the fish just
he had the rod with him still. I thought you meant like running away from him.
Okay, pulling it out of the water.
And so that's one technique.
Drag across the tank. And it's like, all right, Ryan, you got it. Stop running.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She was like a how-to on that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's funny. While we're on the subject of kind of how things started, why don't you give us each of you give us a rundown on like the boat or boats you're fishing out of currently?
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
go ahead, old man.
Oh, I know you're referencing me there. It always makes you sad when you call me old man because I'm like 7 years older than you or 6 years.
You're the elder, Andy.
I am the elder of the crowd. Yes, the group, right?
Yeah, so, I get that crap too.
Yeah, Jordan's our old man.
Yeah.
So currently, I have a 2022 Camus CX-19.
Oh, snap!
225 Pro XS on it, the V8 Merc, and it's loaded with Humminbird electronics. Okay. And I bought that boat about a year and a half ago because my other boat decided to give out during a guide trip, and it was basically the only boat that I could find at the time that was a decent deal. It's white and black. It's extremely fast, and I'm glad I still have it after letting Bailey borrow it for a day this past fall when he's having the best boat day in his life.
Oh my God.
Okay, so before we move on though, Captain, why Camus? I know you said it's one of the ones you could get your hands on, whatever, but I mean, like, there's a lot of boat manufacturers out there. Were you a Triton guy? Do you like Earl Benz? I mean, where did that? Why that brand?
Funny you say that. Before I owned the Triton, before I owned the Camus, I had a Triton, a little sub 19-foot Triton, and I was guiding out of it because it had a wide deck. But the reason why the Camus was appealing was that it was fast and also relatively decent in rough water. It's got basically borderline air ride suspension in the seats. So when you hit waves, if you know how to drive a boat, it's relatively soft on clients. So overall, it's a really good experience for the clients who come in my boat. It's a comfortable ride. Yeah. You get wet sometimes, but all bass boats you're going to get wet in if there's a chop. No matter how good of a driver you are or bad of a driver. But all in all, it's a great rough water boat. There's a lot of things about it that I don't like, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, it's a boat. It's a tool. It's going to get used. It's going to get abused on the lake that I live on in Lake Erie.
Yeah, so, seriously.
I mean, I'm in the process of looking at boats now because I've already put almost 300 hours on it in a year. Wow. So I need it to be able to be functioning, working, no stress cracks every year for it to put it through the abuse that I do.
Sure.
So,
all right. Heck yeah.
Yeah. That's sweet.
For the most part, it's held up. So,
yeah. Awesome.
I imagine that black and white color scheme looks pretty slick on the water.
Yeah, that's a good pop.
I like that color combo.
So the joke is, well, yeah, when I clean it, just the outside though is clean. The inside not so much. 2 kids is tough, right? Like, but the running joke is you can see me from like 60 miles away because the boat is primarily white. So
the contrast, yeah,
guys will just roll up on me, like, "Hey, are you catching?" I'm like, "Oh God!"
Right.
like, dang it! Yeah,
saw you over here 5 miles away. Just thought I'd come say hi.
Yeah, we have a white boat too.
Yeah,
I love white boats, man. Seriously, like my previous boat was a white Legend, and they hide scratches super.
That's what we have as a white Legend.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah.
Like they hide scratches so well. And when you clean them, like you said, like if you give a slime line, that kind of thing, like, I can get annoying. But like to me, they clean up super well. They hide scratches. Like the whole trend, I think like my next boat I'm considering would be like all white poles, white motor. Like that to me, I like the white out boats. I think they're super clean.
Yeah, for sure.
The two that I like is like the white boats or like that new slate matte gray. Like,
we were just talking about that.
Dude, I go
red accents or white accents. Oh man,
so clean. Yeah, not like sparkly gray, but like that, like milky, like cement gray.
Yeah, and I don't know. So
filthy.
this has been something that I've been on I've got two friends that have almost identical boats that it's just like, guys, so the Skeeter obviously makes a flat gray pattern, right? You've seen that. They do that. And so one of them is like, I hate it because it shows scratches off very well. Like the flat does. And I was like, because it is true. Like sparkly boats like do also hide scratches.
Yeah, sure. Well.
Yep. But the other one's like, no, man, I can't see any scratches. And I'm like, do you guys just different levels of hardness on your boats? Like,
yeah.
Or one is looking a lot harder than the other.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know.
But so tell us about your kayak setup, Bailey.
Well, I have a 14-foot plastic boat.
A 14-foot plastic boat.
It is worth way more than my first bass boat.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. With what it has in it now, yeah. But I'm in a Hobie Pro Angler 14. And it's got the 360 pedals on it. And I put a few little devices in there too. Nothing special as these guys. Like
asterisk, a few.
Yeah, are you downplaying this? Like, what are you sandbagging us? Yeah, like I want to know about it, dude. I want to hear about it.
Definitely sounds like sandbagging for sure.
You want to
sandbagging devices? Yes.
So offshore fishing, it's that guy right there in a kayak. I don't care who you are; he will smoke you offshore.
Okay.
For whatever reason, hate being on the bank, which is like contradicts itself because I'm in a kayak. So I like to be as far away from the bank as I can. I don't know. I love being offshore and figuring out those fish. But to rattle off of my kayak cast, I have a Humminbird Helix 9, Helix 10, Humminbird Mega Live, which is the forward-facing sonar transducer, and then a TH Marine Hydrowave. And with all that's powered by X2 Power lithium batteries. So I got that and 3 different GoPro setups all over the kayak.
How do you like real talk? How do you get this thing to the water? I mean, is it how heavy is this thing?
A truck with wheels, and just put wheels in the hook and walk it down.
You do? Okay, that's what I figured. Wow, that's cool. Yeah. That's dope, dude. So you're not running that micro power pole. I mean, because you do mostly offshore fish.
I mean, I would use it maybe one day out of the year.
Yeah,
when they're spawning, and that's about it.
Right on.
Yeah.
Wow, that's it. That's legit.
Yeah. That's awesome. That like he said, that's a rig. He's got it set up. That's awesome.
Yeah, he got a rig.
His kayak costs more than some people's starter boats, even today. Sure. So it's awesome.
Yeah, that's really dope, dude.
Great.
Yeah, so we have Lola and I have we have a White Legend V20, and it was a boat that I wanted forever.
One of my favorite boats.
Oh man, we wanted it forever.
There's only one boat better than the V20, and I apologize. The Legend 211.
Yeah, the Alpha.
Yeah, that is
the boat.
for the Alpha 211 for where you are. That is like Uncle Frank Scalish. Like that's his rig.
That is the boat.
That's his deal. You're dead on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I've been able to ride in both the V20 and the 211.
Yeah,
on rough water and flat calm, and I would take the 211 any day.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. For us, the V20, like, we have 500 kids and we bring them out a lot. And I'm not that dude. Like I am a little bit, but I try to not be the dude who's like, I have some tackle in the boat and some tackle at the crib and some tackle on the wall in the garage. And like, dude, you can put so much tackle. And I get like Bassmaster magazine and Bass Times and whatever, and absolutely zero diss whatsoever to Skeeter, but they'll be showing off their, $100,000 FXR 21 Apex, whatever. And I'm like, dude, you can get like 7 Plano boxes in there. I have like 33 in mine, like quite literally. You know what I'm saying? Like the tackle storage in it is insane. And I just wanted that huge front deck. And
I really like my rig. You can land a helicopter on that front deck.
Yeah,
seriously,
it's
without a doubt. Yeah,
it's humongous. And it's pretty quick though too for being such a big heavy boat. It'll still scoot across. Maybe not as fast as Bailey, but it's quick though.
That big old
Bailey's got a trolling motor on there. He can fly now. All right. Like,
oh, do you really have a trolling motor on there too?
I got a Torpedo on the back, so
you do have a Torpedo.
I go whopping 5 miles an hour.
But I mean,
you're almost breaking away.
Speed of light in kayak, all right?
Hey, I'm putting that thing on plane, all right? Show some respect.
Those Torpedoes are legit, though, dude. I feel like Torpedo's kind of ahead of its time because, like, now everybody's trying to fight for like electric, not just trolling motor, but electric, really heavy torque motor, whatever. And so, and they look kind of cool.
They got some good models. I've been leaning towards. I'm not affiliated with them at all. I've been leaning towards going to Newport though, which is their competitor. And Newport allows you to use your own battery of your choice. Where Torpedo, you have to use their battery.
Right.
Where Newport, I can go slap on a bigger size X2 lithium, and I can go way farther than I would in a Torpedo battery. Right. And they got some different motors that are way better for them. Yeah.
They also had that new Mercury electric motor that shows the ad with the dude like just holding it up like it's like a like a lunch pail or something.
Right.
Like, dude, I know your arm is shaking right now. Get out of here.
So last year at Redcrest, Bailey and I had this conversation with the Mercury guys if we could put the Mercury electric motor on his Hobie.
Oh, that'd be sick.
And I think it was like, a 30-minute conversation with that guy about it.
What was the result?
Yeah, what did he say?
He was genuinely intrigued about it.
He's like, we never thought about this. And you're like, you should be.
Yeah. He's like, he was genuinely curious about it. And he's like, well, get one. Let me know. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not buying that thing.
Well, get one. You're like, well, let me borrow one, and then I'll let you know. Yeah, talking about some get one. Yeah.
Yeah, let me take this one.
Yeah, and the initial stats on it. Did y'all see like the breakdown on the stats, like when they were talking about it? I can't remember what magazine that was in though, but it was like at full speed on this boat, you can go flat out for 17 seconds or something. Like, dude, like the amount of time was legitimately like 12 minutes. I'm like, dude, I can't even get to my first spot in 12 minutes. Like, what are you talking about?
Great, absolutely great.
Yeah,
sounds about right.
Okay. Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah. So
I don't even know where we are.
Did we get to Deacon's rig? Yeah, let us know. Let us know what you got.
Yeah, I've got a Phoenix 721 with a Yamaha on it.
Okay.
I take a lot of pride in. I like the Yamahas a lot. And I got it in Texas from a guy used, and so it's a 2018. And man, he did like a blue decal on the show. So he did a custom sticker on it rather than being like the typical red and gold Yamaha show. So it really pops, man. Like the amount of comments that I get on this boat. Like I had a co-angler at a Toyota series this year try and buy it from me. Like it is, it's black, silver, and blue. And then it has that blue motor and then it has white poles on it. And it is just, it's a good looking boat. So that thing, and then it's the 721 I really like because it's the smallest of the 21 foots, right? I mean, it's almost like a 21 foot. It's 20 feet, 11 inches, I think. But it's real narrow, which opposite of the V20.
Yeah.
But as far as for tournament fishing, I like it because I still have the length, but I feel like it fishes small. I can get in and around docks really quickly. But for rough water, man, it's incredible in rough water, and it flies too. Very, very fast boat. But I've got a Garmin and a Humminbird on the front, 360 and live scope. I think I'm gonna probably get rid of 360 this year. Not anything against it. I just spend more time on the forward facing.
Yeah.
And then at the console, I've got 2 Humminbirds, which I think I'm gonna switch one for a Garmin just to have the ability to have mapping with both brands. Because I feel like some lakes you go to one the other. So no affiliation with either of those. And I've always thought that there's an advantage to kind of looking at all the different options. And also I've got a buddy too that talked about it. That's like, man, I'm running transducers on both of those too, just for if I wanted to have my mapping on one versus the other. So he's really running.
Oh, that makes sense.
Both side scan transducers off the back. I mean, it's an extra $200 or whatever at that point. You may as well run another transducer. So that's what I'm running.
Jordan's thinking. He's going,
yeah.
Oh no, I've got a Phoenix 919 that I really like. It's a sweet rig. They're fast, really maneuverable boats. So Phoenix puts out a pretty good product. I've been happy with it since. I got mine from Tennessee, not Texas, but I had to make a bit of a haul to get it. So I know the struggle.
Right.
Iowa to Tennessee is what, 16 hours.
It wasn't from me. It was like 8.5 hours. So I'm right in the middle of the state of Iowa.
Oh yeah, because he's in Iowa. Yeah.
There he is, froze.
Dude, I like those. I mean, both those 19-foot boat, both Andy and Nate, you guys are talking. So my first boat was a 2005 Legend LE 186. It was the last year they made an 18.5-foot Legend. And that boat, man, was incredible in rough water for being an 18.5-foot boat.
Yeah, that's
the
cool.
fuel tank sat in the back.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Super nimble.
Yeah, get into stuff.
I think I speared one wave in that thing, and I could take it. I felt so comfortable in it. I could take it anywhere.
Awesome. Yeah.
Wow.
And, man, yeah. Super fast boat too. I remember it had a 200 on it, but it was the 3-liter EFI 200 on an 18.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yep.
I could fly in that thing.
Bulletproof motor.
Yeah, those motors did. Once they would go. What does our buddy Colin run, Nate? Is this an Alpha 211? He has that legend.
It's an Alpha 919 or 999, whatever it is. Yeah.
I'm glad you asked Nate, not me, because I have no idea.
You're like, oh, it's the
it's a sweet rig though. He's got an I guess now it's a brand new 225 mark on it. Yeah, and black and purple. It's a dope.
I don't know if you guys saw that video. It kind of went viral. He hit a log underwater on the mist and ripped his motor clean off the back of his boat.
Oh, I had seen that.
Yeah, broke through the motor mounts, like snapped them in half.
Jeez.
So is that y'all's home water?
Yeah, that's right by us. Yeah, he's just a bit south of us on the La Crosse pools of the Miss. That's like, I don't know, about an hour from our house here where we live. But yeah, he was flying through some backwaters that he's gone through 100 times, and then I don't think he was like fully giving her. I think he was going like 60.
Yeah, it was about 60.
And caught the motor and spun around. And he was like, "Oh no!" And he looked back, and his motor's completely like just broke off the motor mounts.
If you slow the video way down, you can see a tiny little thing. Like, I think that was the log.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, pretty wild.
Crazy.
But, yeah, super nuts.
But,
yeah, I mean, he's super, and he knows it too. He was so peaceful too. Like on the video, he's like, "Oh, that's not good." He's like, "You okay?" Like talking to his co. It was like, was it a BFL or something he was fishing? But yeah, super bananas. But okay, so let me ask you guys this, kind of backtracking a little bit, and we'll keep it moving. As far as Serious Angler Podcast Network, how did you come up with the name Serious Angler? And I ask that because it feels like every episode y'all start it by like making fun of each other or laughing or talk about Andy trying to cook a fish and cutting his finger or like what the heck?
Yeah, I guess when you focus each episode on learning and getting down to the business side of teaching people that are listening or watching, we like to have fun with the beginning, but the Serious Angler part started a good buddy of mine, Ryan Killen, who I worked for a little bit out of college. I got out of college during the whole COVID era where it was kind of hard to for people to figure out work and stuff, and I was helping him with housing, and we were always big Joe Rogan nuts. We always loved his podcast. We play it while we were working on building houses. And I was like, tell him about my idea when I was going out to Indiana. And I was like, I can't come up with a freaking name for this thing. And because I'm horrible with stuff like that. And he's like, well, you take fishing pretty seriously. And I don't know, call it Serious Angler. And I looked at him like, works for me. And that's kind of just what I rock. That's kind of the first thing that he threw at me. So he gets all the credit.
It does sound really good.
Hey, it's worked for us so far.
Yeah. Right on. That's dope.
So Deacon, you had talked about like how like you guys all have like the same vision and you're excited about where it's going and all of that. So where do you guys see yourselves in a few years? Where do you want to be?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think for us, I'm definitely like I sometimes get a little bit over of big picture too much. And it's like, hey, reel it back in operations. We need to be working on like what we're doing now.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think overall though, something that we've talked a lot about is just organically adding shows where we see there's like a niche in the market. Right. And so for us, I mean, that model, more than anything, I'm a big hunter as well. And so I listen a lot to the meat eater guys, and they're obviously a juggernaut in the hunting space. Right. And it's a lot. I mean, they have TV show, YouTube, everything else. But in their podcast, I noticed how they started segmenting out, an elk hunting show, a waterfowl show, a fishing show. So they kind of have spread
like hyper specific. Yeah.
Right. For these different niche audiences. And so that's kind of, what we came up with was like, as we organically grow and want to add a new show where something fits. And so that's kind of where Lula Lab came out. It's like, we're talking and we're like, there's not really a short fishing show, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of long form content fishing shows. What about like a specific tip on a specific bait on a Saturday morning that someone can go listen to? And so that's how like, and again, Lure Lab, I think is like, I mean, would you guys not disagree? It's our fastest growing show. Like that thing was like, boom, it has taken off from that mindset. And so, and then same thing with the kayak show, right? It was like Serious Angler is always going to be our bread and butter and like our show that is going to be our mainstay. And then we have the fantasy fishing shows are a part of that. But like these additional shows are more to fill a niche. Like we feel like the kayak space is growing significantly and there's like, boom, let's target that specifically. And then we want to do something different in that space. And so that's kind of, not going to say we're going to like go add 10 shows, in the next couple of years. It's just going to be when we feel like there's a niche and we can add someone to the team, like let's do it. So
I like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what Working Class did.
Yeah.
Or is doing.
Yeah.
Like we're part of the Working Class Bow Hunter podcast.
Okay.
Network, I guess. Sorry.
Yeah. So many words.
I missed a word.
Yeah.
And so we're like the fishing portion under them. And they
Very
have Victory Drive. And
they were really looking for a black dude, a white dude, and a Puerto Rican girl to talk about tacos.
And we were like, hey y'all.
And we were like, well,
that's exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah, we might know somebody.
We might know.
Right? Yeah, we might know somebody. Yeah. That's dope. So are you guys wanting to do this like I mean, are you wanting it to go to like meat eater status, like Joe Rogan status? Like, I mean, Working Class Bow Hunter, the podcast network we're a part of, like Kurt, I still remember when he and I and Nate worked at Gander Mountain together, he was like, hey, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. And I think I said to him, why? Like, I didn't really get, and this is like 2014. I mean, this is, in the podcast world forever ago. And like now that's what he does for a living. Like he quit a job at John Deere, like making good money because like this is going so well. Like is that where you guys want to take this eventually, or how does that look for you?
Go ahead, guys.
We got some pretty lofty goals. It's
good.
It's one that we're trying to improve internally and with our production on all fronts, from a everyday standpoint to a month by month to a year by year basis. I mean, it's crazy because it feels like we've been around for a while, but this has only been 4 years since it's Serious Angler at least started. Whereas as a network, I feel like we've only maybe 2 years, guys. I think
when we hit it hard,
established network. Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's we have some pretty lofty goals for it, and we got the hunger for it. So I mean, like you mentioned earlier, we'd love to make Joe Rogan podcast money. I'll talk about whatever you want for that kind of
sheesh, that Spotify deal. Sheesh.
That's real stuff.
Yeah. I think the thing is for us is we all have this crazy passion for what comes back to bass fishing and the camaraderie that comes with it. And as long as we're enjoying what we're doing, and we are, it's going in the direction we want it to go in, we're going to keep riding that road. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of what our train is we have goals to make it be an empire one day. We joke about that half jokingly, and as long as we're enjoying it, I think that's the thing. Like we all tell each other, like, if there's a day we don't enjoy it, like, it's cool if we got to back out. It's a passion project that we hope to turn into something greater someday.
Wow, while keeping it a passion project. Like passion first.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. I guess so. I don't know if, sorry, Nate, I just was going to ask, so you said you put Lure Lab out every Saturday. Are you consistent? Do you have something come out every week? Is that what you do, or do you? Okay.
We try to, for Thanksgiving, I missed an episode, but I think in the first year of Lure Lab, I might have missed 3 episodes in totality.
Okay.
So we tried to get an episode out every week on each side of our platform, on each episode, show on our platform.
Yeah.
We try to have concurrent episodes out and making sure that we're hitting that every week.
And are each of you on each thing? I'm so sorry that I don't know this. I feel
That's a great question.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically the Serious Angler show is, for the most part, Bailey and Andrew, right? Like that is bread and butter. The fantasy fishing shows, I'm on every single one of those, as far as just because that's our fun show that we bring guests on, and it's around fantasy bass fishing, right? All something we enjoy. I'm on our Business from the Bass Boat show.
Yep.
And then Andy's our Lure Lab show. I mean, just super detailed technique tackle. He's our tackle scientist, right? Like that's just
Cool. I love that.
Yeah, but I get to pick your guys' brains all the time on what to talk about as well, because there's so much I can learn from everyone. And that's the part of that's the basis of the show is teaching and learning, right? Like, nobody knows everything and everybody has their own way of doing things. And I think that's the premise of the whole Serious Angler Network is the fact that we're forever students. Like, all we are here to do is learn.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing around just the network of creating like this full thing that has become super eye-opening to me. It was like in my head at the beginning, it was like, all right, this is a podcast. This is what we do. It's a podcast. And it's like, yes, we're a podcast first, but being a media company and looking at this as a full picture, right? Like Bailey and Andrew have opened my eyes significantly to this, where it's like, hey, we need to have a big social media presence. We need to put out a newsletter. We need to have a website. We need to try and build this to where we're all encompassing. And I think that's helped a lot too in some of our sponsor negotiations, right? Is to say, look, you're not just getting a podcast here.
Like you're established.
Yeah. It's almost like revenue streams financially, but it's all the things you have going on that,
It's big web. They get 3 different influencers too at the same time.
Yeah, I was going to say, to add on to it is the fact that we're not just giving them the network. You also have all of our personal brands as well.
Yeah.
Because we each are based somewhere different geography, right? Like Adam's in the Northwest, me and Bailey are here in Buffalo, but like Bailey's the kayak guy, I'm the guide, and then Deacon's out in the Northwest fishing the West Coast tournaments. Like, we each have our own little niche and what we can provide and bring from a networking standpoint.
Yeah, that's appealing. That's
sure.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, can we talk about tacos? Can we get on it?
Yeah, I mean we're an hour in.
That's what I'm so excited for. You don't
my
addiction.
We're
tacos and tequila. Like that is my
we're an hour in. We haven't even talked about it yet. Jeez.
We talked about that place we went to that wasn't so good.
Yeah,
but let's talk positive.
Well, okay.
Is that do you review places? Like, is that a part of this?
A little bit. Yeah, we have. Yeah. So like
a new taco place.
Yeah, so like we've said this a bunch on the podcast, but like I definitely don't expect you guys to know this, but like the way that this name came about is just like Bailey was saying when we got asked, like Kurt was like, hey, would you be interested in starting a fishing podcast? And I was like, yeah, sure. We could not come up with a good name. And we had some that were like too cute and then some that were like not, kind of catching our vibe of having fun. And the one we were the closest to pulling.
Boring.
Yeah, the one we were close to pulling the trigger on was called Figure Out Fishing. Like this idea, kind of like y'all, like that's all learned together how to figure out fishing, but it just wasn't really our thing. And a long time ago, myself and Lola and then Nate was going to jump in it as well. We were actually going to start a tackle shop in this town called Port Byron, like actually on the river, the Mississippi River on pool. What pool is that? 14. And
this is going.
Yeah, and so we were going to call it the Spot, SPOTT, and the TT stood for Tackle and Tacos. So like you could come and grab you a whatever, like a jackhammer, and then while you're there, like get a El Pastor taco.
Oh man, I would be in there all the time.
Yeah, right.
We still have to do it.
This needs a catalyst into the actual taco shop.
Yeah, we really should.
We could podcast out of it.
I don't know. Studio next to like the grill or something.
I don't know what I'd be more excited about: walking and buying tackle and buying a taco at the same time, or like we have a local fly shop here that's in a coffee shop. Like
perfect.
And my wife loves coffee, so we've actually had conversations about like buying a building, and she's a mental health therapist, so like buying a big enough building for her to have office spots and then have a coffee shop and a tackle shop.
It sounds perfect.
That's all.
Like we've had these like big vision. Talk.
See, the South has it figured out. Like the best tackle shop ever, in my opinion, is Dayton Boat Dock it's on Chickamauga in Tennessee. And they are up at,
is that Michael Neal's place?
Yeah. So 4 a.m, they're open. The restaurant, there's a restaurant / tackle shop, some of the best tackle wise, but also they're up at 4 a.m. shelling out breakfast sandwiches for all the guys going out fishing.
Oh my gosh.
And like that's cool for the fishermen, but they're making money too.
Oh, for
yeah,
sure.
I mean, if you guys see a tackle shop with a taco deal pop up and it's not you guys, you know exactly where this idea came from.
I know. I was like, why are we killing everyone?
Yeah, somebody stole it for sure. So then Lola was just like, hey, let's just call the podcast Tackling Tacos. And then I went to Kurt and I was like, hey man, we're not going to call it Figure Out Fishing anymore. We're going to call it Tackling Tacos. We're going to talk about fishing and tacos. And like, like on an iPhone, like if somebody's typing, it does like that little bubble with the dots. And like, I thought he was going to be like, I don't think so.
Well, the dots were there and then they disappeared.
Oh yeah.
And then they came
back.
Like,
I'm like, he's like, he's not sure. And like, we're homies, like we're like close friends, but he's also sort of the dude in this whole thing. He's the Steven Manella in this whole deal. And and then he said, are you serious? And I was like, oh crap.
Well,
and
because
I said, yeah.
Jordan's a jokester. So
yeah, I'm an idiot. Okay. And so he thought maybe I was like fooling him or pranking or whatever. And he's like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. And then he texts back. He's like, dude, that's dope. And I was like, yes. It's like everybody's kind of dug the idea, even though it feels gimmicky, it's actually not. And so like, we're actually kind of taco-aholics.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. So jump off. Let's go. Let's get into it.
Okay. So what's your favorite taco? Like your favorite
each of
taco,
you, what's your favorite taco
ever had?
Ever had.
That was really deep.
That is heavy. That's hard.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's hard.
The best taco dish I've ever had was in San Diego on Cinco de Mayo. I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
We went. My wife's best friend lived in LA at the time. She came down to meet us, and she's like, "We gotta go into Old Town San Diego, and there's this Mexican restaurant that we have to go into." Awesome. And it was absolutely unreal. The best Mexican food I've ever eaten in my life. And I don't remember what I got. I have a picture of it in my phone somewhere. It was the most authentic, delicious Mexican taco that I've ever had in my life. But side note is we literally eat tacos like every week at my house. Like we have a never ending supply of tortillas, like ground beef, all the makings. Like it's a staple in our house. Our daughter loves it. So taco all the time.
Yeah, heck yeah, dude. There it is, my man. Yeah, dude.
Wait, how old is your daughter? I know you have two daughters.
Yes, I have a 4.5-year-old and a 7-month-old.
Okay. Oh, wow. Side note, I tried to give Gus. So he's our youngest. He's going to be 2 in January. And he was asking for a taco and I was like, okay. So I made him just like, I had like these little baby tortillas, like the street taco size. And I put some refried beans and some shredded cheese. And I just like folded it like a quesadilla. And then I gave it to him like a triangle. And he looked at me and goes, Mama, taco. And he started crying. I was like, oh no. So then I took the same thing and then I rolled it and I handed it to him. He goes, taco. And then he ate it because I presented it differently. Kids are so weird.
Yeah, he's so smart.
That's awesome. I found my plate from San Diego. I don't know if you can see
there it is. Okay.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it was good.
It looks awesome.
Looks really good.
My favorite part.
Double check the date. May 5th, 2019. Cinco.
You still got it. Yeah, you're smart. I like it. I will say though, Andy, my favorite part about your story, like you said San Diego, so then I was automatically thinking Anchorman, and then you said like you didn't know what it was called, like that part where dude's talking. He's like, I think I was in love once. They're like, really? What was her name? He's like, I don't remember. They're like, well, that's not a good start, but keep going. like I don't remember what it was, but it was incredible. Yeah,
there was a lot of drinking that was involved that day. So went to like every big brewery. Had a lot of margaritas,
but you had the intelligence to take a picture of it, so you're ahead of the game there. Absolutely.
So
the wife and I are huge foodies and coffee drinkers, so every time we go out of town, we hit like all the best restaurants we can think of, and we go to all the coffee shops and whatever.
We're the same, dude.
We take pictures and write it down.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
All right, best taco, Deacon, go.
Oh gosh, best taco,
buddy.
So. Also a big taco person. I really like the small tortillas, like and that style of. I really like going to places, whether it be like a specific restaurant or a food truck, and getting, what I love about it is the variety, right? Like you can get like 3 or 4 different kinds of tacos.
Yeah, it's the best.
Like the best. So, I'm gonna say something. I've got a Blackstone, and so I've been a lot of tacos at home.
Attaboy.
Certainly like a lot of tacos out as well. But lately, 2 tacos that come to mind. One, it's in the Meat Eater cookbook of all places. It's like it's supposed to be for kind of a wild boar taco recipe.
Oh,
you
sure.
can totally do it with like a deer shank or something too. You just kind of have to have it longer in the crock pot.
Right, kind of shreddy.
Right, exactly. And there's just less fat in deer than kind of the whole boar situation. But basically, it's like a Asian twist on things, like Korean twist. So there's like kimchi on it, and it's kind of Asian flavored. And oh my gosh, like that taco is phenomenal.
Okay,
and then the other thing with the move to Idaho, we found a lake that is loaded with giant perch, and so
snap.
I've been absolutely wearing the perch out this fall, and so I've been
dude,
fish tacos,
perch tacos,
crema sauce, really good.
I'm on my way.
Yeah, seriously, that makes me so. We live right by a lake that's stacked full of good panfish and crappies and whatever, and we do not make fish tacos enough because every time we do, it's like, I mean, they're just gone. Our whole family goes through them, and like, man, gosh, you got me hungry right now.
Man. I just thought of another great taco place, but unfortunately, it's no longer around. It was in it was on Maui. No, in Maui, like that whole town, the town of Lahaina. But I got some of the best fish tacos I've ever had in my life on the island of Maui. Yeah. So
that sounds awesome.
Story, but I don't remember what fish it was because it was on my honeymoon, and once again, a lot of drinks for it.
I was gonna say similar rhythm there, the drinking and the eating.
But I'm pretty sure I have a picture of those in my phone.
Okay, good.
As well.
Yeah, smart.
Speaking of a variety of tacos, like like a food truck, we could call it a taco flight. Like have different.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just ideas. Don't steal it.
Yeah. Now you have to pair it with like margarita flavor, so you could have a taco marg flight, right?
Oh snap!
Well, like someone's listening and taking notes to this.
Right? I know. Gosh, we gotta get cracking.
Way too many good ideas rolling out here.
Yeah, we gotta get cracking.
Think about like the local tackle store during a tournament anyway. Like, right, like I think of the one specifically at the Delta in California, but like there's always that local tackle store that like every day after practice, guys are running in there to grab stuff a lot, like especially the day right before the tournament. Shelves are ransacked with all the baits that are gone, right? But it's like, could you imagine if when you get off the water, it's 6 o'clock, you've been off the water all day, but you can also get tacos there?
I'm like, hey guys, you want some tacos?
Tacos and tecate, right? Like you can't have anything better.
Yeah, that'd be a filthy combo. Walking out with a handful of lures and like greasy fingers and
all in one.
Yeah. Dang. All right, Bailey, you're up. What's your favorite taco?
So Deacon kind of stole my thunder a little bit with the homemade fish taco. My wife loves when I bring home like walleye, and we make some fish tacos. But I'll put an honorable mention here. I might get canceled for it. So being in Buffalo, and my wife's grown up here her whole life. There was one Sunday we were watching football, and Andy knows this. The one thing people in Buffalo do when they watch football is they make chicken wing dip. And we went to go get chips to scoop and everything. No chips. All we had was hard taco shells. And so her being like me and being spontaneous, light bulb, put chicken wing dip in the tacos. We had chicken wing dip tacos. It was one of the best things I've ever had.
Dude, I'd try it, dude. I would totally try it.
With the chicken wing dip in the taco, what kind of cheese did you top it with? Was it cheese or was it like a shred?
No, straight up. She made the chicken wing dip and then just scooped it out and into the hard shell.
Nothing else.
Put more cheese on.
You didn't put anything else on it. Just that.
We already like double deckers the thing in cheese. We didn't need any more.
That's true.
Like the chicken wing dip in Buffalo. I had the pleasure of visiting Bailey. We were going to go fishing open as a co-angler, and like just the food, like, you have chicken wings at places and all this stuff, but like in Buffalo, like it's a different game.
Thing.
Yeah. Like, they're like, hey, this is a
buddy.
So it was
So it's funny, like with guide clients, when they come here, they're like, okay, what are the top 3 chicken wing places we can go? And I'm literally like, and some of them are like chain restaurants, some are like dive bars, and I'm like, these are the 3 in order that you want to hit when you're here. This is what you want to order. And literally every time they're like, these are the best wings I've ever had in my life. And then they go to the next place, I'm like, you gotta go 3, 2, 1. And they're like, these are the best wings I've ever had in my life. Like every day.
Everywhere
like, this is unreal.
So not only are you a fishing guide, but you're a chicken wing guide. I like it.
Well, there's so many like there's so like Buffalo, right? Like the Buffalo wings, home of the chicken wing. So like,
yeah.
And there's only some places that do it really well, and then everyone else is like mediocre.
Just doing it. Yeah.
So
Andy is our
good.
tackle nerd, food aficionado, and part-time weatherman. He's a
I'm full of useless information that is useful in the moment. All right.
Yeah. It's engaging useless information or something.
I like it.
Yeah. I like it a lot for sure. So do you guys have like where you're at? Do you want to give a shout out? Is there any local taquerias, any local taco spots that you love?
So in Buffalo, probably my favorite place, like sit down restaurant wise, would probably be Deep South.
South, all right.
And the best part about it is they have like a loaded nacho platter that is just
yum.
Out of the
I love nachos. I love them.
Another taco story. For my wife's birthday a couple years ago, they have like a 20-pound burrito you can buy, and it's literally a burrito that's like catered. It's absolutely unreal. Yeah, delicious.
Sounds like a dream.
That sounds awesome.
And it's like layered in like white crema sauce. And
snap.
Oh my gosh, it is incredible.
Yeah.
Every time we do a podcast, I just want to eat.
Yeah, you have no idea how hungry.
And then if you're ever in the Southeast, I have another taco place for you.
Okay.
Here he goes.
It's called White Duck.
White Duck? That doesn't sound like a taco place.
No.
So it's in Asheville and Greenville, Asheville, North Carolina, and Greenville, South Carolina.
Okay.
And they're some of the best small plate tacos I've ever had in my life.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That's dope.
He could go on for 3 hours on this stuff. He's probably got a taco place in each state.
Yes, I have a couple more, but I'll
I told you.
We move on to something else. He was like, also, if you're in the south side of Chicago, if you're ever in Northborough, Alaska.
It's like the highlight of traveling trips with my wife. Like, we love food. We love like good times, good people, right? Like, so we just search out all the best restaurants, and the cuisine that we so happen to love is like Mexican food and tacos.
Yeah, dude, my man.
Good beer and wine, like and coffee.
Have any of the reviews steered you wrong, and you've had a bad experience?
Has to have happened.
Come on.
So the one place that we went to in West Virginia, of all places, like all the reviews.
That's why you went wrong.
No, hold on. It's like 2 stars out of 5, and we're like, well, it's right next to the hotel. Let's try it, right? Like, as soon as we sit down at the table, they bring over like a cart, and they're like stone grinding guacamole at the table.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is going to be either really good or really bad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, in every restaurant around it, so we kind of profile the areas, all like fast food restaurants. And there's this homemade, authentic restaurant, Mexican restaurant. And we sit down, the guacamole was like 9.8 out of 10. Incredible.
Okay.
And we're like, all right. So these West Virginia people obviously do not know what they're talking about. The food has to be good too. Sure enough, it was like a 9 out of 10. It was absolutely incredible. I didn't get sick after eating, where it's like, people were ready. I got food poisoning. Everyone was super nice. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had, walking in a restaurant with terrible reviews, but we're also not people that will just go to a fast food restaurant. So like, we might as well try it and hope for the best. So
and it worked out.
Well, then that was good.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was good. I don't remember the name of the restaurant, but it was good.
Was there drinking involved? Yeah.
Oh, there's always like. So
that's dope.
I think they had like a $5 marg pitcher like special that night. Yeah. So
So they got 4. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No,
just one pitcher, and I think I drank all of it. So
so there's pictures from that too, but they're just blurry. It's like it's just like this wiping blur picture.
You guys know you're from the Midwest. That's an average morning for us in the north.
Start off with that, dude. I used to a long time ago, I used to live in Austin, Texas, and down there people actually like plan vacations around like the barbecue joints, like you stop in this town because of snows, and then you go here for this barbecue spot, and then you go over here for Franklin's or whatever. Like they literally plan how they like move through their vacations for the spot. So like
it's my kind of vacation.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, heck yeah. Great. So, one piece of advice: if you ever go to Philadelphia, do not go to the big name spot like Philly cheesesteaks.
For cheesesteaks,
do not do. They're all terrible. Hit up like your local pizzeria or sub shop.
Okay. All right. There it is.
Mall.
Yeah.
What'd you say? The outlet mall?
Yeah.
I said always
like a hole in the wall.
Oh, they said outlet mall. I was like, they have cheese.
Yeah, go to the outlet mall. You're gonna get a discount cheesesteak.
Yeah, you get that 30% off cheesesteak, boy. I was like, what did he just say?
Not that.
Outlet mall. My bad. Sorry.
Yeah. So when it comes to tacos, you guys kind of mentioned a little bit, Deacon and Bailey, about cooking. Do you guys all cook, or do you enjoy cooking, or?
Oh, love it.
My wife's the cooker. I'm the griller, but she is a blessing. She cooks. I don't feel bad because she loves it. If she didn't love it, I would feel bad, but she loves it. So I'm like, hey, it's all you, girl.
Have at it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. She chefs it up. Yep.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
Awesome.
Deacon, you too. You're into chefing it up.
I am. Yeah. Like I feel like I mean, I don't know. Kenzie and I do a pretty good job of splitting cooking stuff for sure. But yeah, if there's any like game situation, whether it's hunting or fishing, right? Like I'd say generally I'm doing some of that cooking, especially the grilling or the out on the flat top, that kind of a thing for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I enjoy it though. It's like a nice way to relax. There's certain times during the week where I don't want to cook at all. And it's like, man, I want dinner to be done in 10 minutes and not have to worry about things. But then there's times when it's like, it's a nice, relaxing 45-minute hour, to kind of unwind.
Give me a beer.
Listen to a podcast.
Hang out.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Right. Yeah, for sure. What's a topping? Because one of my favorite things about tacos is how, like, you can kind of throw anything on there. I mean, if you want to keep it like kind of just vanilla, you can. I don't mean actual vanilla, but I mean like basic, like if you want to do cheese, tomato, lettuce, onion, whatever, or like you said, you can do kimchi on like a Asian fusion style taco, or if you do like one of our favorites, and we actually have a video of it on our YouTube. We do like pulled pork tacos. It's basically just pulled pork Sammys, but on like a a real soft taco, and then we'll do like dry slaw and whatever. For you guys, if you had to say like what's your most essential taco topping, what is it?
I'm going, it's either going to be like a cheese or like my big thing is salsa. I absolutely love like a salsa, and it has
a spicy guy.
It depends. Sorry. It depends on the meat and the flavor profile. So like I love spice and heat, but it all depends on what it is and how like the seasoning on the meat and what type of meat it is. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I just love
this
food.
Dude's on it. Yeah, I just love food.
This will tell you right here how much I love food. All right.
Yeah.
There's only so many things to do in Buffalo.
This time of year,
and eating fish, which isn't a bad combo. That Alpha Angler hoodie is getting like kind of bowed out eventually.
It might, but
that mouth just gets bigger.
Yeah, the large mouth kind of gets like wider. Started off as a 4, now it's a double dip bass. Yeah. Exactly. What about you guys? What's a topping you got to have?
Go ahead, Bailey.
I might sound like a dweeb here, but
it's okay.
My wife and I, when we met in college, we both swam collegiately, and our cheat meal was always Moe's. And so now when we go and make tacos, one of us will run to Moe's and grab a cup of queso from Moe's, and that's
good.
Yeah,
Moe's like welcome to Moe's.
Yes,
like the Moe's, Southwest Grill.
Genius idea.
Queso is like one of the best things ever.
It is.
Yeah,
that's pretty solid. That's smart. Yeah. I like
queso's
that.
A good one. You guys ever gone to? We'll let you go, Deacon. I'm sorry, but have you ever gone to Taco Cabana, like in the South?
No. Looking that up.
Yeah, Taco Cabana, it's like it's kind of like Taco Bell, except for they have like a salsa and condiment bar. So like off to the side, but it's not like flies buzzing around like dirty. Like it's like kind of dope. Like they have like 4 or 5 different kinds of salsas, and they have different like jalapeno cremas, and they have like pico de gallo, and they have like little things of jalapenos, little things of like adobe peppers and cilantro and red onion and white or whatever. So like you get your food and you go over and just top it however you want. And I always thought that was really dope. And that's where I first got turned on to cilantro.
Oh my gosh, this boy, he loves cilantro.
I love cilantro, dude.
We'll go to like Chipotle and he's like, extra cilantro. They have to like go to the back, get like this little container and drop it on.
Yeah, but can we also talk about the fact that why doesn't Chipotle just have cilantro out?
Because
like you're a burrito place.
Qdoba does. Qdoba does, but Chipotle doesn't.
Qdoba does. Yeah, Qdoba.
They also used to have bacon and they don't anymore.
Yeah, Qdoba is the least authentic, dopest burrito spot around.
It's so
like there's nothing like you don't. I've never seen a Mexican at Qdoba.
Qdoba is like
that's pretty
they
true.
Opened Qdoba in Buffalo. They closed after like 6 months. Everyone that they opened,
dang.
Yeah. But somehow Salsaritas has stood the time, right? Like Salsaritas is still around, but Qdoba, which is way better than Salsaritas.
Yeah, Qdoba's is dope.
Disappeared, like just vanished. One night they like literally locked all their doors, fired all their employees, and like we're closing. Yeah.
Wow, not even bacon can save them. That's serious stuff.
Can't be saved by bacon.
Yeah, you might need to rethink your business plan. Deacon, what's the topping for you, homie?
Yeah, man. For me, it's gonna be something chunky. So like either like a really bomb guac homemade, that kind of a thing, or even like a pico de gallo, or like I don't know, a mango habanero salsa with mango chunks in it, or like something that's like chunky. I feel like I really like.
Gotta have that texture.
Totally agree. Yeah, because like, dude, when you get like that soup, you ever had like that almost like soupy, like almost like sour cream guac? It feels like gas station sushi. Like it just feels like this shouldn't be something I'm doing.
Some red onion chopped up. Like give me some stuff to chunk.
Man, these guys are on it, yo.
Yeah, guys. If the guac is rolling off the chip, you're doing something wrong. That's for sure.
Dude, that's it.
I've had it that way before.
I need substance.
Substance. Yeah, exactly.
I should be able to flip my chip and have it stick.
Yeah, I need to go into Procreate on my iPad and draw that up like a chip like rolling off. Like you're doing it wrong. Yeah,
it's like at Dairy Queen, like the Blizzard.
I was just gonna say that.
Oh yeah.
Flips over and drops. No good,
dude. These are all ideas for the Spot restaurant and tackle shop.
They like go to give you your chips and they like flip over to you. Like, what are you doing?
You're like,
doesn't stop.
See how thick this is? This thing is thick, boy.
It's a thick one.
This is the real deal. Yeah. All right, let's shift gears because I don't want to keep y'all up all night. I know it's like I don't know the time up there. I think it's like 2 a.m. or something. Yeah.
10:45. We're good.
All right. Let's transition over to like podcasty questions, and not even like about y'all's podcast, but because
probably listen to podcasts.
Yeah, we admire what you're doing, and to us, you guys do have like a podcast empire, especially knowing it's only been around 4 years. You guys are killing it. But just some podcast questions in general. Like I want to get your opinion on stuff.
I guess I want to know like what makes a good podcast. In your opinions, like
as a listener, even
what makes it good?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
I think I think the first and foremost is consistency. Like I think if your listener doesn't know like when you're uploading, like if they know, hey, I know every Thursday morning I can wake up and go to work or whatever, and I know I'm going to be able to listen to so and so. I think that, and then just I think it's very hard. I give a lot of props to people that podcast solo. Like I found a hard time doing it. Like I give props to Deacon for doing it. Like if I don't have Andy, it's hard for me like to kill the dead space. So if you have a good connection with your co-host, you're good. You can talk about anything. I think it's that like the connection and consistencies from where I'm from. We can make it any show good.
I like that.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, I think same kind of deal for me. And the solo stuff is hard. Like, and I feel like that's the best. I mean, that's why you got to have guests on and that kind of a thing most times in a solo show. But totally piggyback off that. Like I've told this story, I think, before on my show, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was in a meeting with a sponsor or something. But it was like I find myself. I'm a huge podcast listener, right? That's why I started listening. I mean, like the shows you're talking about, Bass Talk Live, like and all those things. Like for me, we're big in the fishing space, but I listen to shows and all kinds of different things. And my brother was an NCAA champion wrestler, and so at that time, like I wasn't really into wrestling. Like I grew up around it, but like I started listening to this podcast called Flow Wrestling because my brother was talked about every once in a while on it as he was kind of building his career and getting to the point where he won a title. But like I started listening to that show, and it's 3 guys most of the time, 2 or 3 guys, but I still listen to that show today. And I follow wrestling a little bit, but I still listen to it because I got used to the hosts and their camaraderie and their joking and back and forth. And it's like, it's not even on a topic that I'm super interested in, but I got attached to the hosts. And so I think that's something that's important, is that
I hadn't thought of that. I really like that.
That's really insightful.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Heck yeah.
That's where the whole intro, outro of shows like you guys did on this one, where it's you guys discuss amongst yourselves, talk life, talk whatever.
We loved it.
You need that attachment, otherwise you're just a voice that they're hearing. It's a really good point, Deegan.
Yeah.
So I'm not, like, to be truthfully transparent, I'm not a huge podcast listener.
And he's our guy who podcasts.
I know. I just have
never watches YouTube videos.
I got like 10,000 things going on, and as having kids, right? Like, it's just constant chaos.
Yeah, for sure.
Guiding. I'm on the water most days. I'm on the water right now. Like, I'm in the middle of my busiest time of steelhead season, and I'm on the water I'm leaving my house at 4:30 in the morning. I'm on the water at 6, and I get home at 4, and then it's dad time, and then podcast time. So I don't really have much time in between. But what I look for in a podcast is the title. So it's got to be a topic that I want to listen to, or I'm searching for information. And then it has to be like the first 3 minutes is super important to me. It has there has to be a hook that keeps me in. Otherwise my ADHD kicks on. I'm already looking for the next thing.
Yeah.
So, but if it's what I'm looking for and I get hooked, I'll listen to the entire thing. So
Chat GPT that?
No.
He's like, Chat GPT, what to say?
No, that's just the way, like, in anything, like, even with music, like, if I'm not hooked in the first, like, 15 seconds of a song, I will change it. And I think Bailey can attest to it, like our morning rides at the boat ramp. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm not feeling it.
Look at him shaking his head.
Not feeling it. Not feeling it. Like,
you're like, dude, let one play. Jeez.
Tournament, or not even tournament morning. Anytime I'm in his truck and we're going somewhere, it is an emotional roller coaster. It is from hard metal to slow country to Mariah Carey to like something Disney. Like, I'm like, dude, it's like every 30 seconds he'll switch it. I'm like, dude, I can't do this.
Got a little variety.
Bailey just jumps out halfway to the ramp. He's like, that's it.
Like, oh God.
He's like crying and yelling.
Stop, drop, and roll, buddy.
There was one time where he went to go and change the song, and I stopped his hand. And I'm like, please,
stop it.
One song.
Yeah. You're like, I don't even like this song, but just let it play.
Like Red Solo Cup, I think, was the song.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Old Toby Keith.
And then it turned into like 35 minutes of just like blatantly screaming like every song that came on, because they were all good ones, like back to back.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's the best when that happens.
Yeah,
I always have mine on shuffle.
Yeah, like your whole library.
Yeah,
I can't do that.
My shuffle library is atrocious. Like, it's so exactly what Bailey said, because my wife will like songs that my kids like. So it's like you'll go from like a death metal song to Baby Shark.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh God.
We can relate. We can relate. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have like 50 Cent, and then it'll be like Lion King or something.
Yeah.
For sure.
Parenting 101.
That's
you never
it.
know.
From the candy shop to the
the candy shop to the Pride Land.
Yeah, that's it. That's the playlist.
Yeah, it's good. So audio, does audio quality then matter to you? Does that keep you listening? Turn it off? Does the topic, you know what I'm saying? Like, would you stay listening if the topic is really good?
Well, I mean, Deacon said he had to kick their butts on some audio quality
right, I
stuff,
know.
so it must matter on some level.
Audio's a killer. Like, if it sounds like crap, I'm gone.
Yeah.
That's my ADHD. I'm like, I just can't do it.
You can't focus on it. You're like, ugh.
Yeah. I think for me, I think what I do love about podcasting is that anyone can go and create one with virtually any budget. So there's not, in my eyes, like, I still think it's better to put out content than not to put out content at all. So if you don't have all the fancy equipment, all this stuff, I still think it's important to do that. And Bailey and Andrew have a huge testament to that. Like, they grew a huge following with basic equipment, right?
Yeah.
Without really crappy, but
hence the laptop and the Zoom
and the half keyboard.
The half keyboard, right? Like,
right.
We're
but
doing it right.
I think you get to a point, and like, I was listening to this the other day on a new podcast. It was like, I was taken back because there was some echoing, and every once in a while we'll have an episode where something will go wrong, right? And it's like, man, I'm not going to redo that episode. Like, it's out, like it is what it is. But but like, yeah, I think it matters for sure. And I think I'm drawn to shows that have a good quality audio, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
So what type of shows do you guys listen to? I know we've mentioned like Bass Talk Live and Rogan, but are there any others that you find yourself going back to week in and week out?
Pull up my podcast stuff.
Yeah,
I'm the worst person to ask.
Yeah, I know you said you don't.
And he's like, absolutely not.
What's the last one you listened to, Andy?
What was that?
What's the last podcast you listened to? Do you remember?
I like that.
I actually have it in my Spotify. Hold on one
I was just looking for some like specificity.
Is it Tackling Tacos?
Yeah.
No, unfortunately, it is not.
He's like, no.
But, like, I'm getting, like, as a steelhead guide, I need to expand because I do bass and steelhead, which is a lake run or ocean run fish that moves into streams to spawn.
Right.
And there's a huge niche of fly fishing, and it's something I've never done. So I started researching, like, how to get into fly fishing to catch steelhead so I can expand my clientele list and try and book more guide trips.
You're not arrogant enough to be a fly fisherman.
I do enjoy it though. Like, it is one of the most fun ways to catch a steelhead. I've done it. But the last podcast I listened to was the Wet Fly Swing fly fishing podcast. And I texted Bailey like shortly after I listened to it. And I was like, I finally listened to a podcast that actually hooked me in the first couple of minutes. And the reason why is there was a story time. And then you guys opened your podcast with like telling a personal story. And that's the stuff that's so important to me because I love being able to connect on a personal level and understand who I'm listening to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
It was the smoked turkey that did it for you, wasn't it?
Oh, dude. So when you started Thanksgiving, I don't know. So I married into a giant Italian family. Like, you walk into a party, right? Like, you got guys in suits and half unbuttoned white.
The mafia.
Yeah, like literally like the mafia,
so
right?
Awesome.
Like in my in-laws, they made 4 turkeys on Thanksgiving for like 40 people. We had 2 different oven roasted turkeys and 2 different smoked turkeys, and then they make everyone vote on it. You're like, all right, who's losing their toe tonight? Like,
it's a competitive.
Who's getting the raw deal here? Yeah, and like every turkey every year is better and better and better. My father-in-law has won like small awards for like chili cook-offs and stuff. Like, absolutely, like some of the most incredible culinary art school from people that weren't trained in culinary arts. Like, the food is absolutely
well,
unreal.
lucky you, dude.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So I'm very blessed. Yeah.
Like you said,
back to food.
Loves that. I love food. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there it is. There's the closer.
Yeah, you need food to survive. Like, you might as well be a foodie.
You might as well have good food. Yeah.
Exactly.
So what about you, Deacon? Did you pull up your list? What are some podcasts you get down with?
Yeah, man. I probably subscribe to, like, honestly, probably 30 plus podcasts. I don't listen to 30 per week, right? Like, but it'll just be, then that's where title and all that stuff kind of comes into play.
Sure.
And then you have your regulars. But yeah, man, like, I listen to BTL. I like Matt a lot. We're good friends. So BTL for sure. As far as the fishing podcasts go, I listen to a lot of Jody White stuff with Major League Fishing. Generally, if it's on something, like, I was just at the Toyota Series Championship, so I wanted to hear how the winner caught him right there. So that kind of a thing. I have some businessy real estate podcasts that I listen to for sure. That I really like, and I guess the one would be either like the Bigger Pockets podcast or On the Market. Those are 2 more in that space, and then a bunch of hunting podcasts, man. The Meat Eater stuff for sure. I just started listening to the Go Hunt guys. They've got their podcast is called Big Hunt Guys. And then another one I really like, I don't know if you guys followed all, like a Randy Newberg on YouTube and that guy, but he right now, a show I just listened to that I like want to post on social media about is kind of on the hunting side of this growing concern, especially in these Western states, just around like the, some of these anti-hunting groups versus hunting groups. Right. Like, his message with it all was much more like, and this is through interviewing people, like we need to be targeting kind of the silent majority, right? Like the middle grounds, like our world right now is so polarized and it's like you versus them. And so kind of like we need to figure out a way to kind of come through. So anyways, some of that stuff's been interesting to me for sure lately. And I've just thought about more and more of like how, and we've talked about too, of how we can give back with our platform and figure out ways to help conservation and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I love that. So if you listen to 30 plus, do you have any weird ones? Like I used to listen to Sasquatch Chronicles, even though I don't believe in Sasquatches, but it was really funny. Do you have anything like that?
Dude, I don't. And I'm looking through, like, honestly, no. Mostly for me, podcasting is like educational. I would say for the most part.
It was educational.
There was a lot of education going around.
Yeah. My favorite part was the intro to that show. It was like a bunch of chopped up like interviews with people, and the one was like, he looked at me and all I knew was in his eyes was hatred or something. I was like, oh my gosh, dude, this can't be real. Oh, this can't be real. Yeah.
Oh, I got one more.
Yeah.
Deegan's a big murder mystery fan.
Yeah,
that's the most pop, like, right? No,
it is. Yeah.
The one that I don't listen to unless we're on road trips, but this started with my tournament partner from Colorado, Turner. It started with him, and then I've Kenzie and I, my girlfriend, do it too. We just road trip to Colorado for Thanksgiving and back. But like, how we survived, and that's on one of the major podcast networks. That's on.
Everybody talks about that podcast.
I forgot who the one that Amazon owns. There's like 130 podcasts on it. But
yep.
Wondery is who they are. But that podcast, How We Survived, or how whatever it is, it's like, man, it is some cool stories. It's like 5 or 6 episodes, perfect for a road trip to just hear about some natural disaster that happened. Big fan.
Yeah. And everybody does do like those murder, whatever.
We were talking to Gussie, and he was like, "Oh, you guys have to check out this podcast," and you guys are messaging about it. That's so funny.
Canadian true crime. I just got done listening to the Mad Trapper and the Beetle Bandit.
Wow,
and
these
were very good podcasts. They're actually pretty dope, but they were
like, I like her voice.
With a side of nice, like there's no mean Canadians, right? So there's got to be nice inside of it.
Yeah, I mean, this dude was killing people, but
not all Canadians are nice.
Shooting his family with a crossbow, so that's not super nice. But
that sounds pretty Canadian. I don't know.
It's Tim Hortons in his hand, bud. Like,
he threw a toonie at him when he was done shooting him. All right, what about you, baby? What podcast do you get down with? The Get Down?
I mean, I binge the usual fishing stuff. Usually when I'm like driving to the ramp or something like that, you know. We one thing we love about this is we get to connect with a lot of people in the same space. So like,
that's awesome.
One of my best friends, I mean, he even married me. Alex Rudd has a great show where he talks about everything on the moon. You want to talk about rabbit holes? That's his show's foundation.
And Sasquatch.
And Sasquatch, big Sasquatch.
Okay.
Our boy Andrew Hayes at Tackle Talk, he's a great one. Mercer runs a great show, BTL. But when I'm on like long road trips or working, and I need some, if it wasn't for fishing, sports is my number one too. Very close. Big hockey, lacrosse, football guy growing up.
Okay.
Big Pat McAfee, Spittin' Chicklets guy.
Yeah.
But I also love Theo Vaughn, and
he's really funny.
Joe Rogan. I've kind of like been selective with Joe Rogan lately, but like when he has comedians on, like my favorite now is he has Shane Gillis on a bunch of time, and I just love
that guy's hilarious.
Dude. Super funny.
I just those two when you just need to like forget about everything.
Unwind.
Yeah. Did you see the video with Theo Vaughn turkey hunting with Waddell?
No, what?
No, that exists.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
I legit watched that today.
Dude,
him and that
Caleb,
Caleb Presley are on Theo's podcast talking.
Yeah,
about
Caleb Presley, the dude from whatever the Sundays or whatever, where he interviews people. So he takes it seriously, and Theo Vaughn couldn't give a crap less the entire time they're hunting. Like, there's not a serious and they're like, "You're not going to shoot something." He's like, "Well, you know, what?" Like, he doesn't give a crap. Like, it's super. Yeah, you got to look it up. It's really funny.
I will look it up. That's awesome.
And Waddell is funny, but he's also like a stone cold killer. Like, he's a legit hunter. You know what I'm saying? So he's trying to get them to hunt turkeys. Theo Vaughn doesn't care. Presley's somewhere in the middle. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah.
I will say one that I absolutely love, and I've watched like the minute it's out now. My wife's on it too. Is New Heights with the Kelsey brothers.
Oh yeah,
I absolutely love that one. If you're not a sports nut, it's a great one to watch.
Yeah, it's good, and their camaraderie is really good.
Yeah,
they're funny.
Yeah. And you get to the more you get to see Jason Kelsey's eyebrows, I figure that's the better.
Hey, he was named sexiest man alive. I mean,
I don't understand.
Not watch.
Yeah, sexy is very subjective, my friends. Like,
I'm biased though. I'm an Eagles fan. I've been a Kelsey fan forever. But
well, I mean, I think certain people are cool, but that doesn't mean I'm like thinking they're the sexiest dude. But
to each their own.
Respect for respects too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. where are we right now? What's going on?
I don't
know. You know what sucks though?
It's your average rabbit hole.
Is you guys are way too nice. So like, I literally have here on my show notes a question. I'm gonna read it, and you guys are too nice. And I said, do y'all have any turf wars or gang wars with anyone? Like, are you getting ready to fight Tackle Talk and jump Matt Pangrack?
No.
Well, it turns out you're not. I was hoping you could give me like some, whatever, be like, yeah, dude, Uncle Frank is a hack. And like, I don't know, whatever, what's another good fishing podcast? Like how you guys don't like them or something, but dang.
No, I mean, there's some people obviously in the industry that are known to not embrace any positivity whatsoever. And we just steer clear of all that.
Yeah,
and, it's just not worth the time. And we have some really good connections with a lot of people that we consider great friends. I mean, Alex Rudd is a dude I met through fishing, and he literally married my wife and I. So it's kind of like kind of a testament to that. But I mean, I can't speak for whatever DMs Andy or Deacon are in, but I'd say we're in good friendships with many people.
I think we're all in the same place.
Yeah, no, I wasn't serious at all. At all. Yeah, I love that vibe for sure. I was just thinking the other day, who should absolutely start a podcast but never will is Tommy Biffle. I feel like that'd probably be the funniest podcast. Maybe just the stories and his
I would just love the
voice.
stories. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's like just talk about
I own the water from that point to that point. Exactly. Coming out, cut you.
They'll call it Tommy Biffle.
Yeah, you call it like inner thighs with Tommy Biffle, them little baby shorts you be wearing. Yeah, Biffle bugs only. I don't know. Yeah,
somebody should just get him on as like a Biffle story time segment. Like that's that's where it
except for
he
has beef with everyone, so you'd have to find like one person that like whatever that gets along with him. And
hey, we don't know him.
You guys should get him on. You guys should get him on.
Good idea.
Did you ever hear that? He does it halfway all the time. But when Mike Iaconelli does his Biffle impersonation, the only thing he says is, "You're making it hard for me. Come on, you're getting too close. You're making it hard for me." Like it's the worst impersonation, and yet somehow it's so funny because he just comes in on pad and 8 inches of water, just screaming at you.
Like one of my favorite like shorts like on the old Bassmaster videos is when they like do that talk with Mercer and ask them to like impersonate angler, right? They all like impersonated Biffle, and it was hilarious. That's where the kid is like, it's from there to there, and it's like a half-mile stretch, and if you come in, I'll cut you. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah,
like I think it was Keith Poche that was like, I'll cut you. Cut you.
Yeah, there's so many stories of him like just rolling up on people. Like, that's my point. And they're like, dude, you're a mile down the bank. It's like, yeah, but I'm working this way. Yeah, that'd be a good. That's what it would be called. I'll cut you with Tommy Biffle. That's a good podcast right there, boy. So let's talk about something serious. You guys, you want to take a couple of minutes and talk bad about forward-facing sonar? I'm totally just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I don't want to talk about forward-facing sonar. I'm completely kidding. I'm so sick of hearing everybody cry about that crap. I love my live scope. I don't care. I think it's dope. I think it's like everything else. It's a tool. I don't want to talk bad about it. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
We share the same opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Right on.
Case closed.
All right, deal. Shut the book.
Okay, so what is each of y'all's like favorite way to fish?
Yeah,
like
that's a good
technique or.
Oh, this is funny.
Yeah, just what's a fun way to fish? Doesn't even have to be bass. Whatever. What's a fun way to fish for you? If you could go out and smoke them, what you could pick the way you do it. How would you do it?
It's hard, man. Mostly because I just like catching them anyway. They're biting.
Yes, I understand.
What's the first lure you're throwing to find out if they're biting?
There you go.
Oh, that's a good one.
Big glide bait.
It's a great way to find fish.
It is a great search tool. Gosh, people don't use that enough as a search tool.
No, it's a fantastic search tool.
It works even here in Wisconsin.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna say my favorite way. Like, if you're like, hey, this is like, what's your number one? Like, for me, it is hard to beat frogging. I think that's an obvious one. I mean, you guys are in the mecca of it, right?
Yeah.
That is punching, man. Like, punching to me is just a freaking blast. Like, especially the Delta, where it's just like you never know if it's a giant
under there.
Like, it could be a legitimately 11-incher or an 11-pounder. Like,
right. Yeah,
that's cool. At any time. But something shallow is probably, like, as far as like my favorite goes, is top water and something like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll go out and fish deep and love doing that too. But if it's like you can catch them anyway, one more. I really, and this is controversial probably, but I really like bed fishing. Like, if there's one thing that, like, I like looking at them, I like pissing them off. And to me, like, that's a game that I really enjoy, and that's definitely controversial. But like, big largemouth on a bed, like, I'm gonna figure out how to catch that thing, and it will be legal.
I did a good amount of that this year, and I wouldn't call it so much bed fishing, but definitely sight fishing, seeing them and throwing at them. Man, it is a blast in the shallows. There's a couple backwaters that I got into this year that were just gin clear, and you could just see them swimming around and just throwing up at them, and watch them just chase over and just murder it.
Yeah. It is crazy fun. So, okay, real quick follow-up question, Adam, what's your favorite? I know there's 12,000, but what's a frog that you really like throwing?
Man, I'm pretty consistent. There are 12 million frogs, and I've gone all the way into the JDM side and used some of those frogs too. But man, I'm a Spro guy, fairly through and through. Like a Spro popping frog or a walking frog. Something that I think gets bites in super pressured situations is downsizing a frog. You can't cast as far, but like, especially when shad are really small, like a little Strike King frog, or
I was going to ask if size matters with that for you.
Small. I think it can if the bait size, like, you're throwing a white frog around shad. Like, I think that small little frog, for whatever reason, gets more bites sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. Dope.
Heck yeah.
Shut up. Don't share that. Dude, what's that one? I always talk about it. The boat's right there. It's that little jackal frog. The one I use is like black and purple.
Katana, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's compact as all get out. It does not work for anything in thick moss, but if you get it a little bit open next to a laydown, that sucker gets inhaled. Yeah, that's a dope little frog.
Fishing's hard to beat.
Yeah. All right. What about you other fellers?
All right. So, as a smallmouth guide, my least favorite way to catch fish is a drop shot.
I knew you were going to say that.
90% of the time of the year. Yeah. So, like, if my preferred way to fish is a big stick, I love flipping grass and just literally hitting fish with like everything I can. But if I could have a close second, and I got to share the boat with Wes Logan last year, and I took him on a smallmouth adventure throwing topwater on the Great Lakes fish that come up and eat on the surface, which is really rare. That's probably one of my absolute favorite bites, and I have it relatively dialed to like the perfect conditions when to go and make them bite. And when you get one to go, it's always like 4 pounds plus, and it's one of the most insane bites you can ever get. But it's like a 15-minute window that they'll bite it, and then half the times they just show themselves. But that's probably one of my favorite like things to do, is catch a 5 pound plus smallmouth on like a big spook.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you talking about like walking bait or wow.
It's a spook, or but the original Reaction Innovations Vixen, like something that
you can't be nervous throwing that though, boy.
You can't be nervous. Because if you're not throwing it, you're not catching them.
So. I know, but those go for moolah now. That's like losing $100 if it gets bit off.
I only have one left, so it is what it is. But same with the glide bait, right? Like, if you love glide bait fishing, are you gonna throw the $50 one that doesn't have good action, or are you gonna throw the $400 one that works great?
Tell you what, I roped them on a small, or not on a cheap glide bait this year. I mean, roped them, but it just was the right profile at the time.
Yeah. Throw the Hinkle shad like an ultralight. Just live by the seat of your pants. Hope for the best.
8 pound test, 2 ounce bait,
just
5 ounce bait.
Right.
Let it rip, dude.
Have a time.
By the way, Wes Logan seems like an awesome dude. He seems like super cool, like down to earth cat. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
He's one of the real ones, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
I should get him on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So what about you, Bailey? What's a way that if you could go out and make a deal with the Lord and say, hey, I want to catch him this way, he goes, okay, what is it?
It's a great way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely say the glide is a hell of a lot of fun.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess just to be a little bit different, I love deep cranking. Just absolutely ripping something.
Such a fun bite.
And then just feeling the rod getting ripped out of your hand.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude.
I always forget about the crankbait bite until it's on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is my favorite way to catch him.
When Andy and I are on a bite, like New York here special. You guys know in the north. In the spring, it's just stupid. As long as you got a hook, you're gonna catch something. People call it KVD season up here. And it's like you can throw anything. When it's so funny though, because like when they'll lock down something and I'm catching them, I'm just gonna keep throwing that. Where Andy's like, ooh, I caught him on this. I'm gonna pick up this rod and I'm gonna catch him on this.
That's Bailey
and I pick together.
I do that too.
It's like a bomb went off of the boat. There will be like 4 stacks of rods. And no, there'll be like 20 rods on each side of my deck.
Yes.
And then in the back, my rod locker will be empty, and where Bailey's sitting in the co-pilot seat, there'll be like 20 more rods. Because I'm trying literally everything. I'm like, ooh, can I use your rod real fast? Because that looks cool. Like, oh, I don't like that. Then pick up another rod.
Oh my gosh, that is seriously.
And then he does you like the radio and slaps your hand away. He's like, stop it.
Enough.
It's great for me because I get to just fish and he's just back there and just making a mess.
Yeah. So Lola's Bailey and I'm Andy. Yeah.
No, he's saying I'm making the mess, but it's really Bailey's rods that are everywhere. All right.
Okay. That's perfect.
Very true.
Yeah, right on. Yeah,
because he is the overpacked kayak angler who comes on the boat and breaks his entire basement.
Yeah, because he can. Yeah, because he can actually spread out for one. So he's like, "Oh, daddy." Yeah.
He's like, "Do you care how many I bring?" I'm like, "Absolutely not. Bring them all. Like, I don't care."
Yeah. Have you guys? I wouldn't suspect you have, but have you ever heard of Fish 30-acre swim baits? No. Okay. It's a homie of ours who he lives in Georgia now. He used to live in this teeny little town called Aledo, Illinois, and he makes some of the nastiest, realistic looking big swim baits. He went to like a school for like taxidermy, and so
those look great.
Oh yeah, he like
BKKs on them.
What'd you say?
You're tearing at my heartstrings. He puts BKK hooks on those things.
Yeah, he does now.
So good.
Yep.
Yeah. I was just like looking around to see if I could find
one.
We
have a bunch in a box, but Nate has one there. That's an old one, like a bluegill one.
Super old bluegill one that he did.
It's like a wake bait.
How realistic that is.
But his color finishes are just next level. And
how's the act?
Well, depending on the one, like the one that I throw a lot is called he has a couple different shad ones, but he has a money shad one that I think it's like 6 or 7 years old. I used to make all his like promo videos for him, and then he would just give me baits as like that's how we would work out the deal, you know. But his lures are a couple $100, so then to get them free for a video, I was like dope. And I use those a lot as like search baits, and I was just wondering if y'all had heard of them because they're legitimately art, and most people don't know about them.
So they look great.
Yeah, they're really solid.
They're costing me $150 right now.
Yeah, dude, they're super dope. Yes, and then like a lot of good, wide swinging glide baits are like that one where if you hit that right action on the handle, you can make it turn around, make it completely spin back, and then give it a little bit of a pull, and it'll straighten back out, like kind of like it's trying to get away from something. I mean, I've caught everything from bass to pike to muskie to all kind of stuff on them. They're pretty legit for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. I think the one's called like the X Glide or Glide X or something like that. That one really does the side to side, the S wave and swim action. It works.
Yeah, I'm looking at that video of it right now. It's a nice little wide glide. It looks like you could chop it too.
Yep. Yeah. They got. He has.
If I buy it on the show, can I like expense it to the show? Is that how this works?
You talking to Deacon or?
Yeah, talking to the business guy. That sounds good.
That sounds like business from the bass boat for me. I mean, that just makes good sense. Well, hey, we'll let you guys go in just a quick sec. Let me ask you this though. In your opinion, and I know we asked this of a lot of people, but in your opinion, what's the difference between like a good angler And it doesn't even have to be like a weekend guy to a pro, but even, like there's always those dudes who like, they show up to a ramp, even just like in a local club, and you're like, son of a gun, like I don't back down. Like I'll fish against whoever, but when they show up, it's like, all right, well, I'm fishing against him. Right. What's the difference between like a good angler and a daggum stick angler?
Ooh, that's a great question.
It's tough. I think a good angler has a lot of it figured out, but is stuck in their ways, where a great angler is willing to learn and be open-minded.
That's good.
I'm like right on the same path as you. I'm saying mindset and time on the water. Like, if somebody has like, if they pull up to the boat ramp and they got some moxie, but like they're like quiet about it. Like,
so not like Andrew at every boat ramp.
Yeah, listen, it's kind of productive, right? Like I'm coming in, I'm that guy that's like, I'm on nothing, I'm having the time of my life, I don't care, and I'm loose and I'm having fun.
And he pulls in and it's, hey, you guys, like,
and he's like, gosh,
mindset, buddy. I want to mess with everyone's mind that I can going in. Like, I want the most nasty weather conditions there can be. I want everyone to be thinking about, like, I want tough, sunny, calm, or I want it blowing 45 and windy, and I'm the same way every time. I roll up, music's blaring, I'm laughing, I'm talking to everybody because they're like, oh, great. Yeah, whatever.
That's who he is.
Just going fishing.
Having time. Are you intentionally a sandbagger, Andy? Like, do you I'm not on anything. I caught like 2 in practice. Are you that dude? Are you Greg Hackney?
Oh no, I'm catching them in practice, and then I'll either suck or I catch them in the tournament. So
okay, but I mean, will you tell people though? You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody asks, like, "How was your practice?"
I'll tell certain people.
And he's like, oh, he tells people.
I'll tell everybody. I tell Bailey.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's funny.
What do you think?
I'm in the same. I hate to just piggyback off that, but like, I'm thinking of like you're saying, like the people who are just, hammers. Like every time you're like, oh, here we go. Like this guy's got it. Like, and whatever reason, like you spend a little bit of time around him or in the boat, and you're just like, man, he's just got it. Like it's just crazy. But I think a lot of that is keeping a super open mind. Like those guys that don't miss. I mean, the guys that are super consistent that win Angler of the Year titles, like, you could have had the best day one in the tournament out there, and you went out and you busted 20 pounds, and day 2 it's falling apart, and those guys still figure out a way to go catch 12 or 15 pounds to keep themselves in the game. Like just keeping a super open mind to me is probably the biggest difference, I think, and being willing to completely change everything on the fly.
Yeah, that is really good. Yeah, because it's never the same. Like minute to minute, day to day, hour to hour, things just shift like crazy. Like you'll hear people say at the ramp, like, I don't know, man, yesterday in practice I caught him, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, it's because it was yesterday. Like you gotta be gymnast mentality. Like you gotta be super flexible and kind of like make the best of it in that moment. And I'm sure right now, as we're talking, anybody listening to this is thinking of like these dudes in their club. Like, oh yeah, there's this guy and there's this dude. Like I'm sure Nate knows of dudes in his club in Iowa. You guys know clubs or guys in your clubs where you're at. I'm thinking of dudes here in Wisconsin. There's one guy specifically, this guy named Lonnie, who's just the coolest dude. But he's got that, like you were saying, sort of that quiet confidence, and like when he comes to the weigh-in and you like look at his bag, I'm like, I hope that's water that's making him kind of tip sideways while he's walking up to the line. Like they just got it. And everybody's got that dude. And I always just wonder, like, is it time on the water? Like, are they that good here, or are they that good if you plop them on Biwa? Like, are they just that good of an angler that they just figure it out? Like they put the pieces together. They're like like I saw a video once of a kid juggling a Rubik's cube, like 3 of them, and like solving them while he was juggling. And I'm just like, I'm the dumbest man alive. Like this dude's juggling 3 Rubik's cubes.
I'm gonna get there. I'll never get there.
Like are these dudes like that? Like they just put it together faster than I do? Or you know what I'm saying? Like, are they just naturally that talented, or is it time on the water? Is it I don't know.
Both? I don't know.
I think there's a lot of it behind what makes a really great angler. And again, this is all speculation, but I think a lot of it's curiosity. Like if you go out and you find a really good bite, there's people that just enjoy the sport of catching, so they'll keep going and catching, where someone can come back and they catch fish like that. Like, I wonder what it's like during this condition, or I wonder what it's like.
They like dissect it.
Yeah. They want to see it at its worst, and they want to see it at its best, so they can see different situations and then learn from that. That way they can take it on to different scenarios. But
that's what
I think if you're not curious anymore, you're not learning.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Everyone can catch them when it's a slugfest, right? Like, it's the days that where it mentally tests you. Yeah. Those are the days that you learn the most.
Yeah.
Like, and I hate going out and not catching anything, but I hate to say it, but the days that you don't catch jack are the days you learn the most.
Yeah.
So for most of the time, because a lot of times you're going to get bit on those days you don't catch jack, and you either didn't feel it, or two, you're just slightly off on something, and then you can go back. Like, I love going back to that same lake that I sucked on to try and refigure it out and do either the same thing. Is it a presentation? Is it an angle? Or am I fishing too shallow or too deep? Or is it just conditions? Like, and that's the puzzle that we continue to chase. Like, what can we do to become better?
Yep. Yeah. Well put, dude. That's exactly right. That's exactly it. Couple more, and then we're gonna get out of here. Speaking of going to a derby, and I feel like we already know the answer from Andrew, but you're headed to a big derby. It's, I don't know what time, y'all. I like to get to derbies early. I hate waiting in the load in line. I'd rather just drop in and sit out on the water and tie stuff up.
I'm like, we're rolling out at 7, and I'm boat 190. I will be here at 7. All right, here we go. Like, I don't need to be there early. I'll get there.
Yeah, I like to get there early.
I hate it. Like,
yeah,
I like to get there early, talk with everybody, see where everyone's mentally at. Like,
I like to troll over to people's boats that are on like spot lock and just kind of peer onto the front deck. Like, hey, how are you doing, Lonnie? Oh, okay. All right,
okay,
sweet beaver. Okay, sweet. Not really.
You creep.
Oh, biffle bug. Okay, I see those short shorts. But okay, so you're heading to a derby early in the morning, and you're like trying to get hyped up. What are you listening to?
Oh man,
good question.
Like
Andy's T Swift and.
No, not T Swift. No, literally, like it's like it's either gonna be like
be specific. Name a band. Name a song. Name a something.
Oh man, that's tough because it all depends on the flavor of the day. Like, and I don't really have a preset thing. Like, sometimes it's like whatever that new song is that's like in my head, like I'll play it on repeat, or like if I feel like I might actually crack them, like it'll be like Metallica or some type of metal band, or like if I really don't know what the heck's gonna go on, I'm just gonna play like all kinds of like sing along, have fun, like hip hop, rap songs. Like it just depends on the day and whatever comes on the shuffle mix, and if I skip it or not.
So like if Moana comes on, you let it rip?
Oh, definitely letting it rip. Always, you're welcome. Like,
I was just gonna say you're welcome.
You're welcome. Always. Like there are certain songs that don't get skipped, and that's probably
that's one.
I am a Moana guy, like, but definitely you're welcome to wait.
It is good. Like, it is really good. Yeah.
What about you guys?
Yeah, I used to be a music guy. The past few years I'm not. When it comes to tournament mornings anyways, I usually don't listen to music.
Okay.
I'm usually putting on a podcast, and because my biggest idol when it comes to a fishing standpoint is Brandon Polnick, and he looks at the mental side, I think, better than anybody else in the game.
Yeah.
And what I was looking into some whole psychology of it. Like, if I listen to a podcast that it gets my brain moving, I'll make decisions faster and better. Where if I'm listening to music, getting hyped up, I sometimes as an athlete growing up, I let my emotions get the best of me. Whereas, like, if I do that from decision making, I might get too much adrenaline going and mess something up. Where the podcast settles me down, allows my brain start functioning at an early hour. Where music would get me probably all fired up at the wrong time. But if I had to pick something, I'd say like when I go to the ramp, sometimes like practicing or fun fishing, it's a Whiskey Myers or Ryan Bingham or something like that.
You are the frog man.
Do love me some bluegrass.
Yeah, that's cool. I can dig that for sure. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Absolutely. I do think there's something to be said for like getting yourself going in the morning. Are you a coffee guy? Are you what wakes you up? What gets you moving?
energy drink. I don't trust coffee in a kayak miles away from a ramp.
Okay. Yeah, that's a valid point. Yeah, I got a box.
Man. I can't do energy drinks personally. I get way too shaky and jittery.
I've never had an energy drink because I think I would actually die.
Coffee.
Hey,
yeah,
I'm all coffee.
Someone told me this the other day, but I mean, a regular sized Red Bull still has 80 milligrams of caffeine. It's the same as a cup of coffee.
But I feel like the way that it's delivered, I don't know. Maybe it's.
I agree. It makes me shaky.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
I'm a coffee guy too.
Okay. What about music for you, Adam?
Yeah, man. I feel like I listen to music. I used to always listen to music going to the ramp. I'm not as advanced as Bailey in the approach of listening to something that's going to get my headspace right.
Yeah, that's smart.
For whatever reason, lately I've there's times where I will listen to, like, a lot of times for me it's like 80s, like REO Speedwagon or something.
Okay.
Like that.
Jamming.
Going to the ramp, jamming. But
just the dust in the wind, a little Kansas in there.
There you go.
What's that movie with Adam Sandler, Billy Madison, where he rolls up listening to that Stroke?
Yeah. Exactly. That's me.
Sitting on his second gen Camaro hood. That's you rolling up.
Yeah, that's a great song.
It is. Stroke. Yeah.
No, so that for sure, or it'll be a podcast. But
okay.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that just got me thinking more on your what makes a great angler, but that intuition, man, is just wild to me how much it plays.
Yeah.
I think you like start to grow as an angler, and like there's been a couple times this year specifically where it's just like it's been years to compile this, but it's like I didn't catch one there in practice, but I was like, man, there's one here. Like this feels right to me. And then you go back there tournament day and catch a couple or catch a big keeper or whatever it is. It's like that stuff, I think, just is time on the water. But I think that there is a natural level to everything. And I think everyone can grow, and that shouldn't keep people away from it. But there's some guys where you just get in the boat and you're like, oh boy, like he really has it.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's got to be I don't know what the balance is or what the mix is or what the amalgam is. Like Bailey was saying, Brandon is like Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind. You know, he's just cross-analyzing and like interpreting all this data at once. And I mean, he'll even talk about it. That's kind of how he analyzes fishing. And then other people are very like, not seat of your pants, but very like go with their gut, go with their intuition. There's, and I think where those two sort of confluence, I think that's where like the best angler lies. Like when you can be analytical, you can be intelligent, you can interpret the things you're seeing, like that cool little color selector thing back in the day where you like put the pH thing in the water and it tells you like what color of worm to throw. When your brain can be like that mixed with trusting your instincts, that's where you really get dirty. That's where you really get dangerous on the water. That's when you win, like what Andrew was saying. That's when you win the grinders, not the slug fest where everybody's bringing in 20, but where you win the tournament by bringing in 9.5 or whatever. Yeah.
I'll tell you, like when an angler has it is when they make a cast with a certain bait and they literally set it down the next cast because it's not it, and then they pick up that next bait and they catch one. Because it's intuitive, right? Like you're like, it just doesn't feel right, and you're flowing with it. And I think that's like one of the more dangerous traits that an angler can have is just knowing when to put something down and pick something up and getting bit that next cast.
Dang. That's good, dude. Yeah, that's really good. Okay, so last one.
Yeah.
We'll let you guys out of here. In case somebody's living under a rock, in case somebody has not gotten hip to the Serious Angler empire, how do people find you? Social, website, your turbs. How do they get a hold of you?
Turbs.
A lot of people living under rocks these days. You can find us anywhere. From the 4 different shows, it's on any MP3 that you listen to that has a podcast, from Apple, Spotify to Amazon to whatever you access your MP3 from. Obviously, we're on YouTube, Serious Angler Network, and then we try to be on every social media platform possible for Serious Angler anyway.
Yeah.
Are you guys on TikTok, like doing dances and stuff?
Not dancing. At least Andy doesn't know that there's videos of him dancing, but
okay.
I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's videos of me randomly singing on GoPro. Like
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's wild. goes through my brain on a daily basis, and I think that's why Bailey can stand me for about this long, like, because it's just a wild ride.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, on that note, on that note, I mean, Nate, you got anything else you want to throw in? Lola, you got anything else you want to throw in? We are so thankful to have you guys, man. 2 hours, whatever.
Thanks super
appreciate you. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. We really appreciate it. Had fun and enjoyed all the info you guys threw at us. I appreciate it.
Seriously. Yeah, it was
super fun.
Yeah, it was a combination of fun, and I feel like we really learned a lot from you. Yeah, you guys are awesome folks. We wish nothing but the best for you guys moving forward, and thank you so much for being on our little podcast. We appreciate you.
Thanks to our new besties.
Heck yeah, anytime. Appreciate the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, we appreciate you. We're gonna kick you out of here, and then we're gonna close up shop. So thank you, guys. Thank you.
See you.
One at a time. This is gonna be awkward.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Later, guys.
There we go. Man, so that was dope, dude. Like, I was really hoping, like, with 3 different dudes, whatever, plus us 3, that it was going to be a cool dynamic. What a couple of, what a few cool dudes.
That was so fun.
What a few, like, just authentic dudes who are, like, authentically themselves, intelligent, articulate. I mean, honestly, like, what better kind of ingredient or recipe is there for a podcast? Somebody who is authentic, articulate, passionate about what they're talking about. Yeah. I mean, that's just a good combo. What'd you think, Nate?
Yeah, it was great. Those guys they're all so well-rounded, and kind of each of them bring their own,
I was just gonna say that,
their own specific part to the show, and that they do an awesome job, and it was fun having them on. Learned a lot for sure.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a big. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and I don't know how awesome it would be to catch a steelhead on a fly. Like, that just sounds so cool. Like, I think that would be a blast.
Yeah. I hope I didn't like offend Andy when I said, like, you're not arrogant enough to be a fly fisherman. That's just like this certain, like,
pretty perfect. It is.
Yeah, that's like this certain vibe around fly fishermen. It's like
the vegan of fishing.
Yeah, like the vegan of fishing. Like, everything is like smarter, and everything is a little more like homegrown, and everything's a little more. Oh, well, you do it that way. Well, I actually use this weight of line.
It's like the CrossFit of fishing.
Yeah. It's like it's like that. It's like that CrossFit joke. Like, how do you know somebody does CrossFit? Because they'll tell you. Exactly. Oh, you fish? Well, I'm a fly fisherman. So yeah, but for me, that'd be a double entendre, because I'm rocking Jordans out on the boat. So I'm like a fly fisherman. That was stupid. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Boy.
I hope my kids don't hear that. They're gonna be so embarrassed. They would say something stupid like that. So anywho, as we say goodbye, real quick, got to show much love to our sponsors, Giltech Jigs, and not even just jigs. I don't know why I keep on saying jigs. So I'm gonna try to get these close enough to where you can see them. We have like some of the stuff here, like the Northern swim jig. If you throw a swim jig, will you? This one is the Jam. It has a Vanna White them things. It has the fluorocarbon weed guard, so it's the phone, not the computer. So it comes through water straight, really, no matter how fast you reel it. And then the clear weed guard is awesome for gin clear water, like what we run into. Oh, you got more. Like we run into in Wisconsin. Those are only available at hookandarrowsupply.com. Also, the heavy cover, that jig saved like 3 tournaments for me. I'm getting choked up. It's just such a beautiful jig. A little old jig is so pretty. That one's called Mud Lime, and that one saved me tournaments this year, where like things completely changed, like we were talking about, completely changed from pre-fishing to actually fishing the tournament. And it was just like, all right, well, I'm just going to cover water and throw a swim jig, and then ended up with a full bag just from throwing that jig just over and over and over on like weed edges, like basic bass fishing 101. And then there's this one. This is a pretty unique one, I think. It's called the Giltech. What did it even say on there? But basically, it's a tube head jig that has marabou feather built into it. Marabou tube head. Yeah. So show that to the camera. What happens with that bad boy?
Very nice.
Yeah, they're so sick. You throw that on a tube, and then when it's not really moving much, that marabou feather just kind of moves just real subtle. So if you're fishing like a real, like a tough bite, that's not really, at least I haven't used it that way. It's not really for like cracking a tube or fishing a stupid tube way. It's like a regular tube presentation. But when the bite gets really tough and you're barely moving it, that thing will just get whacked when nothing else will get hit. Cracking a tube?
Yep.
Cracking a tube is.
I feel like I should know this, and maybe I do.
It's just I don't know what just happened. It's just like a more aggressive way of fishing a tube. So instead of just kind of like popping it, you're cracking it. I mean, you're letting it rip or letting it fall down.
Frog smash?
So like, yes. So like, I was just talking to Steve Jonasy, the muskie guy, and he fishes red October tubes for muskie, and he calls it cracking a tube. But what he does is he intentionally gets it stuck in weeds and then rips it out. And when it pops out, that real snappy pull out motion, it just triggers something predatory in the muskie.
Slap me in the face.
Yeah, you wouldn't want a red October tube in the face. Those things are huge.
That's what would happen to me.
Yeah, so you don't really crack a tube with that or stupid tube where you fish it backwards. It's just regular tube fishing, but man, they are dope. And then I've also like Hook and Arrow Supply, the archery shop, the fishing stuff, whatever. Hit them with the Grizzly Kenai stuff so I can take a drink and stop choking.
Drink your stuff. Kenai, we have these cups, Kenai coolers, Grizzly coolers. We love all of their stuff. They have the tote bags, the big coolers, smaller coolers, cups. We have thermoses, water bottles.
It's thermosi. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're grizzlycoolers.com.
Sorry.
Code WCB. You get 10% off. Why not? Other than that, man, Waypoint TV, YouTube, socials, all that stuff. We are so appreciative. And if you haven't yet, man, go look up the homies on Serious Angler Podcast Network. They're consistently putting out good content. The one thing, like Deacon was saying, it's different angles of stuff. So like, it's not just the same old bass fishing stuff, and the bass fishing stuff they do is awesome, but it's also specific to kayak stuff, to bass fishing, to specific lure stuff.
That is so clever.
That's such a dope name.
Yeah.
Lure Lab.
Such a dope name, and it's such a good angle of a podcast. Short, concise, direct to the point. This is the bait. This is how I work it, how you should work it, and when it can be good. Like that's just such a great idea.
I love it.
It's cool for like people who are tackle junkies, but it's also really cool for people who want to get better at fishing.
Like me, who want to be better.
Yeah, you listen to that.
Who don't just want to throw the jackhammer. Just kidding. I do always want to throw the jackhammer.
I don't think they've done a jackhammer episode because everybody throws a jackhammer.
Yeah.
But maybe
that's the only thing I throw.
That's the only thing.
That's not true. It is.
That's it. We appreciate you guys so much. Nate, give us the hook and we'll roll.
Like always, positivity is worth the effort.
Yeah.
Peace.
We'll catch you on the next one. Love y'all. Peace. Bye.